A2HH Live. A2HH Live, we're in the building. Mike D on this side, Coop on the other side. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I can't even reach right now. I don't want to mess up the mic. I don't want to mess up the scene and whatnot. Man, we got a full show today, man. We actually have a full countdown, a top 25, where both of us, you know, I'm the one that normally doesn't put together the list, actually was able to put together a top 25.
I was pleasantly surprised you put together the list.
A top 25 hip-hop producers all-time list.
Now, here's the difference between your list and my list. I didn't use any production teams because I want to do a production teams list, because when I was going through the production teams, it's like, well, it's not fair for the Bomb Squad, in my opinion, to be up against like Marley Marl or for Trackmasters to be up against Preem, you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And Organized Noise, Beats by the Pound, you know, or KLC. They went by KLC at the end, I think.
Yeah. And then and to have Manny Fresh have to go against that, it's it's not fair.
Bad Boys Hitman.
But
Organized Noise.
People always do this with the whole Pharrell thing. I put the Neptunes on there, and honestly, man, one of the things that I kind of gauge things by was album making ability, right? And then that's when the singles and all those things came in. It's interesting how many great producers that we've had in hip hop that haven't made an end-to-end album.
That's great.
You know, it really is. Like when you think about it, it's only a handful that have been able to do it, period, and only a handful have been able to do it consistently. Thumbs up in the chat, y'all.
I was pleasantly surprised at the amount of producers that I realized had made end-to-end great albums. I think the problem is that we don't have a lot of guys that have done it in multiples. And we have very few guys that do both. Yeah.
But we're going to get to that in a second, man. What do you got to say about the Clippers on a 4-game winning streak? Because I know we was dumping down on the Clippers when they were losing, but James Harden is a part of the Clippers squad, and they got 4 games in a row, man.
James Frauden. Frauden's his new name. And Paul George left the game with a groin injury. This is what's going to happen. I told you, if you counting on PG and creaky knees and James Frauden to get you somewhere, you're not going anywhere, Mike. They're going home in the first round.
Round?
They're going home.
You got them going home in the first round.
They're going home in
all
the first
the guys
round.
they got.
They're going home in the first round. Denver could beat them in a 7-game series. Sacramento could beat them in a 7-game series. The way Minnesota's been playing this year and the way Anthony Edwards has come on the scene. Phoenix, if their 3 main players can never get on the court at the same time, which still hasn't happened a quarter into the season. Bradley Beal did play last night. They beat Golden State.
Speaking of which, and it's funny you say that, because
those are 4 teams.
The NBA's become one of these things where it's like guys don't really all come together until it's playoff time. Do you think that maybe this cup thing also was a play for the NBA to say, you know what, we need some guys who's actually going to play 82 games? Like giving you an incentive to actually play the full season and compete.
Only bigger fraud than James Harden right now is that damn tournament.
Ill Magic with the super chat says, "What up, Mike and Coop? I'm loving the stage setup. Appreciate the love. It's gonna be a fun show. Setup is fire, you know. And we got a lot of room for a lot of things here, man. I'm loving it. What do you think about the Dodgers, man? Like I heard about the Dodgers signing. And they're raising the ticket prices now.
First of all, it's LA, so they're gonna raise the ticket prices intermittently every 2 to 5 years anyway.
Well, I mean, all right. Well, for the people who don't know, I'm talking about what's his name?
Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani. Yes, he. What was this? 475 million?
No, 700 million.
700 million. Damn, why am I shorting him so much?
So 10 years, 700 million.
Right. And the Braves were in the running for getting him, and now we're like, kind of happy that didn't happen, man. The ticket prices is going up like that, and it ain't even seats.
First of all, I wouldn't have paid him that much money because he's on his 2nd Tommy John surgery, and what makes him special.
Oh, they're saying the audio's low. Let me see what we got here.
No, audio's fine as usual. They always be saying that.
Well, I had to turn it all the way up, but whatever. All right, but go ahead.
Everybody needs to understand that what makes him special is that he's a top 5 pitcher and a top 5 offensive player.
It's insane.
Yeah, but
we've never seen that.
No,
in the modern era.
We haven't. No. We've never seen it. This guy's like
Babe Ruth stuff.
No, Babe Ruth wasn't that good that long as a pitcher, first of all. And this is something totally different where this is a guy that can win MVP, has a batter or MVP has a pitcher. And so he's the best player in baseball. It's between him and Acuna Jr., who resides here. I got to see him live this year, actually. I actually went to a game.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
Yeah, I actually saw him
one time.
We whooped that ass. We tagged him pretty good. And he did aid in the comeback. But here's my thing. If we're talking about from a lineup perspective, I'm not that worried because just as a Braves fan, we have a comparable lineup. We got Matt Olson and Acuna. You know, they got Betts and Ohtani. They got Freddie too, but it's like our lineup in the end is better, and so I'm actually cool with him being with the Dodgers because it's like, oh, he may not pitch for a couple years. That still makes us the best team. We just need our best player in the MVP of the league not to fucking choke like he just did. The whole team choked, but it was an Acuna choke more than anything else. So if Acuna actually shows up and plays some postseason baseball, I'm not worried about it because he actually cancels out Ohtani on the offensive side of the ball and actually does more things like stealing bases better than Ohtani. And so the one and two best teams have the 1 and 2 best players, but he's not pitching. Now, the thing that makes me worry is that he deferred these payments so they could go get some pitching. So what we need to do is go get some pitching. But for right now, not worried.
Just hit me. 007 hit me and said, yo, my super chat's not going through. Is anybody having that issue with YouTube as well? Because yeah, we're noticing that I guess some people aren't, super chatting like they normally have. So maybe just keep trying, I guess, or we'll just see what's going on with YouTube and customer service. But he said, here's my message.
It's either Kanye
Greetings
or
from Brixton, London. I'm calling for a special show on Slick Rick. Will you do a year-end show recap for 2023 and 2024 expectations? You know what? That's going to be our next couple of shows, man. We got to start really running this year down. And, I mean, this has been hadn't been the most eventful year musically, but, we still got to do what we got to do.
I was thinking, and I reached out to both the pods about us and Fresh Out and Rap Roundtable maybe at the top of the year getting together for an episode and having a 2020-24 forecast.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Like get everybody all in. See if my people from Hip Hop Talks is down too. I was talking to the brother Sean today.
Okay.
We got some things cooking, but I'd like to sit everybody kind of down at the virtual table and let everybody sound off. I think it would be good. We'd have to extend the show obviously, and we're gonna have to do some platform choosing and all that. But but I would like to start working out the logistics of that. Just been a little busy.
I agree. Yeah, I think that'd be dope.
Yeah,
I think the fans will really appreciate that. Old Badly with the super chat says working ? Okay, so it's working for him. Somebody else try it. No, I'm just kidding.
That's Baldy, not Badly. That's Baldy.
Oh, Baldy, my bad.
Shout out to the Haters Ball. That's Old Baldy from the Haters Ball. Yeah, that's Dumb It.
So who all's in the Haters Ball? Old Baldy, my bad.
So Dumb It Down is the middle brother. Old Baldy is the big brother.
Okay.
Little brother's never on the show. On our show. Yeah, but old Baldy is the OG of the Haters Ball. Everybody needs to subscribe to the Haters Ball
for sure.
They've been running clips. I've actually been on the Haters Ball twice, and they have hip hop talk like we do. You know what I mean? They're heads.
Yeah, I mean
they're from New Orleans and they're big Lupe fans. It's crazy. I've never seen.
It's funny, man. You challenged them to do a show. And then it happened. You know what I mean?
No, I love it.
Dumb It Down. You challenged him to do a show, and then they made it happen. And that's what this is about, man. This is growth of people developing their own platforms from other platforms, and us all coming together and talking some hip hop shit.
I mean, Adriel Green and Ashawn are both followers of According to Hip Hop, and they have Hip Hop Talks, which Taj helped plug them up with. And so it's good to see people that used to follow us actually like branching out. That's something that like makes me proud and lets me know that our platform has really reached people and touched people. You know what I mean? It's like I look at them, it's not like they belong under our umbrella, but I do look at it as like spin-off shows of us. It's like these are people who used to be in our chat that are now stepping out, making things happen for themselves. And it's like I like seeing brothers like do their thing and get into the money and expanding the consciousness of the hip hop community. It's all love. It's all good.
The discourse continues to grow. I mean, I look at this kind of like a barbershop, and it's like you have other people walking into the barbershop with their own perspectives, their own, conversations, topics, everything else. Yeah. Because there's only so much we can cover in a 2.5 hour show. True. So it's great to actually see people who are watching the show taking some of these topics or taking on some things that we didn't talk about and putting their own spin on it. It's a beautiful thing. That's what this is about.
I like Dumb It Down in the fact that it's just like he took my words and really did what I said. It's like, oh, you don't like it, Dumb It Down? Do your own goddamn show. He's like, you want to know what? I think I will, and I'll call my brothers to help me.
The Patreon that we used to do on Mondays, man, that was fun. And I think at some point we could revamp something like that when it makes sense and take that to the next level, because I miss Leroy Green coming in on some of them shows and Dumb It Down and us having conversations, man. It was great conversations.
I don't miss them taking my airtime, not even a little bit. Jordan House was
awesome.
Jordan House is my favorite one.
Jordan House is dope. He has great insight.
Yeah, his insight and his perspective. He's probably the follower that we've had who, when he talks, he reminds me of me. He's just not an asshole like I am.
I was going to say he reminds me of me, kind of. But yeah. Anyway, Wu-Tang announced that they're going to be doing a residency in Vegas. I think that's incredible, actually. I mean, are they the first hip-hop collective to do such? I'm trying to think of what other hip-hop acts have been in Vegas.
I can't think of one, but I know where I'm going next year, and that's to Vegas to see Wu-Tang Clan.
Well, the rumor is that not Jay-Z. The rumor is Beyonce's probably going to do the Sphere, I think. They said Jay-Z was walking through there and Beyonce's mom and all that stuff. So it looks like it's going to be a lot of hip-hop coming through there. Not saying Beyonce's hip-hop, but I think that eventually, after this Wu-Tang thing, Jay's probably going to put his hat in there as well. I would imagine all members are going to be there. I don't know if they would do the residency without Method Man being in Vegas.
Yeah, Method Man better be a part of this.
I don't think Vegas would do it.
That need to be part of the contractual obligation.
I don't think Method Man would miss this. Let me put it that way.
It's as big for hip-hop.
Yeah, it is. It's huge.
They're monumental.
Mm-hmm.
See the logo? A monument in hip-hop carved out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what does a Wu-Tang set in Vegas even look like? Like, what are the essential records that, I mean, because you probably got like a set list of 20, 25 doing a residency, right?
Protect Your Neck, look like? Cream, Can It All Be So Simple, Incarcerated Scarfaces,
Yep.
Bring the Pain, Old Dirty Bastard Son, Performing Shimmy Shimmy Ya in Brooklyn Zoo,
mm-hmm.
Triumph, Shay Shay Lagos, One, Shadow
Big
Boxing.
One?
Yeah, they got to do some rap shit. Shadow Boxing.
The devil playing fear inside the Black Babies. 50 Cent sodas in the hood. They going crazy.
Those are just some off the top of my head that I'm thinking of from their best stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to go to that.
Daytona 500. Oh, I'm going. Like, as soon as I seen that, I was like, yep. I was like,
did you hear about Jodeci? They're doing a residency in Vegas too.
Next year?
Yep.
I'm going to be in Vegas.
Yeah. Jodeci, man. Actually, in my personal
Charlotte, North
opinion,
Carolina's finest.
You know how I feel about Jodeci as far as, I think they're the best R&B group of the 90s.
Easy. It's not a conversation.
Easy. It's not a conversation, huh? A lot of people would say Boyz II Men. I think that I got Jodeci over Boyz II Men, and for the simple fact that they're a group that you could just lock in the studio and they could come out with product on their own. They don't need Babyface to write anything. They don't need Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And I'm not saying that, to be disparaging, but I think that's what makes Jodeci special, where you got Devontae being the talented producer he is, on the level that he is, then you got Dalvin as a writer, and then you got Casey and JoJo.
Well, they have three things, boys. Here's what they have. First of all, they have a producer in Devontae within the group.
That's big.
That's big.
That's super, man. Like, people don't understand how big
they have a writer.
Yeah.
And Devontae writes too. Dalvin and Devontae are both high-level writers.
Right.
KC can out-sing all them niggas in Boyz II Men. Period. So, yeah, it's always been Jodeci, and that's not like it is hometown bias, but it's also true.
Nah, Jodeci's music hit different, man.
It is. I mean, and not being
I don't know what they look like right now as performers, to be perfectly honest, so there could be some trepidation there, but just the power of the songs.
They got more soul than Boyz II Men. It's kind of like that Mariah Mary thing. It's like, oh no, Mariah got the records. I was actually playing We Belong Together in the car on the way over here. Love that record.
If somebody said that Boyz II Men's the better group, I understand where they're coming from.
No, I
disagree.
No, I don't.
I mean, because from a technical harmonizing standpoint, and anybody who's classically trained from a vocal standpoint, I could see how they would lean more towards.
They don't
Boyz II
have
Men.
a record that makes you feel the way Forever My Lady makes you feel, or Stay makes you feel. That's where it's
Stay
like
is crazy.
that's where the intangible part of it comes in. It's like, no, Stay and Forever My Lady. I'm Still Waiting.
I'm Still Waiting is my shit.
These records make you feel something. When they redid Lately by Stevie, like those records make you feel something. The Boyz II Men songs are like technically proficient. They're like, oh no, that's great, really, really clean, great job.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't make you feel.
Because on Stay, where it's like that, forget about yesterday, like that part.
'Cause I want you so bad.
That and then
make love to me. Yeah, that's
it's
different.
not even a conversation.
It's different. That's what I told you. It's not conversational.
To me, I would say, being fair and balanced, I'm gonna go Jodeci, I'm gonna go In Vogue, and then maybe Boyz II Men. I think from
In Vogue would be the conversation, but In Vogue got cut short when Dawn left, so that would be where that got cut.
But those two albums, I mean, honestly, not both groups, all the groups we're speaking about really peaked at their second to third. The third albums really weren't that anyway.
Forever My Lady is better than Born to Sing, and I think Diary of a Madman is better than Funky Divas. Funky Divas is bigger, but I don't think it's better.
Is big. No, I'm putting Jodeci over In Vogue.
Yeah,
I got In Vogue at 2, and I got
What About
Boyz
Us?
II Men at 3.
Cry for You. Yeah, it's different. It's different. They hit different.
This shit is different, man.
Yeah,
it comes through the speakers different. But yeah, I'm happy for Jodeci being in Vegas as well. Wu-Tang's gonna be in Vegas. Definitely gonna be at that show. And,
going to both of those shows. I didn't know Jodeci was gonna be there too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to make.
They say Mint Condition, man.
I'm about to make a
good one. Tony.
The albums aren't there. Tony deserves some love. Drew Hill deserves a little love.
Drew's
first two albums are fire.
Listen, no, I'm saying like
first two albums are fire.
Drew Hill is a great group. But I always looked at them as Jodeci knockoffs.
Everybody after Jodeci was a Jodeci knockoff.
Well, no, they were very blatant.
All these little niggas running around now is Jodeci knockoffs, Mike.
They were really blatant with it. But this is what I will say: of all the groups in the '90s, Destiny's Child included, the one star in all those groups, I'm gonna have to say, is Cisco. Man, that nigga was going extra. He was extra on everything, on the choreography, on the singing. Like if you look at all those groups, one individual that would just jump off the page, I'm gonna have to give Cisco that one.
It's not cool to be Bobby Brown with blonde hair.
Matt Max to the super chat says, Mike, your man's Ye snippet sound like hot dog shit in them spaces after I'm not done parking Coop, like Bud did or Raw. I'm gonna get you for the Ye takes. Well, I got way more Ye takes today.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I got way more Ye takes today. Y'all ain't feeling this Kanye stuff? Cause that record with Freddie, it's hard, man.
The record, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I want to hear the whole album, but
first of all, the first thing that I thought is like, well, you know, this nigga's known for making last minute changes that don't go well. See Donda, see Nasir.
Yeah.
As far as recent memory, like the whole big titty beautiful women don't fall out the sky. It's like that hook's not that strong, Mike. It's not that. It's not like the record. The beat is there. Freddie is there, and even Ye's first verse is there. But as soon as he started auto tuning and doing the hook stuff, I was like,
It's gonna catch on, man.
No, it's not.
It's different, man.
Freddie's verse might catch on. Ye's verse is dope. The first verse that he did is vote. Then he started doing that 808s and Heartbreak bullshit,
which caught on.
and music suffered for that.
He sees things in the future. You think music suffered because of 808s and Heartbreaks?
That's why all these delicate ass rappers is walking around now.
You know what? I feel like 808s and Heartbreaks is one of those albums, kind of like Electric Circus, in the fact that it wasn't what we wanted from that individual at the time. But I'm not gonna say it's a bad album. It was actually a dope album. I don't listen to it, but it's a dope album.
It's not bad, but it's not great like people make it seem. It's solid.
A classic.
It's solid. No, it's not.
It's a classic.
It's a solid album.
Impact is there.
Impact is there. How about the quality of the music?
Let's ask people in the chat.
There's like 4 good songs on that album.
Is 808s and Heartbreaks a classic? I want to see what people have to say.
Heartless was dope.
It had some joints on it, man.
No, it didn't.
You didn't like Amazing?
Look here, like just because you break up with your girlfriend don't mean we all got to be victims to the shit.
Is that what that was about? I thought that was more about his mom.
No, that's more about his girl.
Well, I mean, that was the theme of it. What about Welcome to Heartbreak? Welcome to Heartbreak is a dope record.
It's good, Mike.
Welcome to Heartbreak. You got Heartless, Amazing, Love Lockdown, Paranoid,
Love Lockdown was pretty dope.
RoboCop, Streetlights. All these are bangers.
No, they're not, Mike.
Bad News.
They're not that good,
See
Mike.
You in My Nightmares, Coldest Winter.
I see this
Pinocchio
album in my.
Story.
I see that album in my nightmares because it's not that good.
It's a classic, man.
No, it was just different for the time, Mike. There's a difference between something being different and something being quality. That shit is not quality. And I'm going to stand on that.
It changed everything.
Because here's the reality of the matter. You can't play it next to his best shit, and that's how you know it's not his best shit. Name one song from 808s and Heartbreaks if you was picking Kanye's best 25 songs that would make the cut.
People are killing you in the chat.
I don't care about the people in the chat.
People are killing you.
Tell me the one song that would make his top 25.
That would make his top 25?
Yeah.
I would say Welcome to Heartbreak is a contender. He just has a great catalog.
So
Heartless.
So how great is this album then if he doesn't have a top 25 song on there?
He just has a great catalog, man.
So do a lot of other all-time great rappers and artists. But your best shit should be, if it's so great like everybody say, if it's a classic, why is not one of his 25 best songs on there?
I think that Welcome to Heartbreak could be on there.
Could be. Listen to what you're saying. Oh, it could be on there.
I mean, he's such a great artist. I don't really know.
That album's just all right. It's just all right.
What do people in the chat
You can't
say?
name one top 25 song on that album. That should be it. Because you can pick 5 from 5 other albums. I can go off the top of my head. All Falls Down, Never Let Me Down, Jesus Walks, Spaceship, Slow Jams, Heard 'Em Say, Touch the Sky, Crack Music, Roses, Diamonds from Sierra Leone, We Major, Power.
What did the
All of
people
the Lights.
say? Okay,
So
people,
Appalled.
57% no, 42% yes.
Told you it's not classic.
Okay.
It's just good. It's just all right. I'm just giving him good for the create. I'm giving him creative license for that, but them records ain't like that.
Do you feel the same way about Love Below when it comes to Outkast's catalog? Because that would be the same thing.
Them records are like that.
It's hard to really compare 808s and Heartbreaks records to the rest of Kanye's catalog, but let's just say, hypothetically, Love Below, we're comparing the songs on there to the rest of Outkast's catalog.
She Lives in My Lap and Prototype.
I think She Lives in My Lap, but not Prototype.
I think Prototype.
I don't think that's a top 25 Outkast song.
No,
if we're putting Outkast together, like, nah.
Yeah, no,
Prototype is nice, but nah. I mean, I would put Funky Ride over Prototype. I put Spodioti over Prototype. I put Liberation over Prototype.
I'd put Liberation over Prototype.
Yeah. There's a lot I'd put over Prototype. Now, She Lives in My Lap is the best song he ever made, in my opinion.
I agree with you. That's the best record on that album.
Speaking of that,
there's more contenders on the Love Below though, like Happy Valentine's Day, Spread, Prototype, She Lives in My Lap. For people who like Hey Ya, Roses.
Hey Ya's a hit.
Yeah.
Hey Ya can't be denied.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
One of the biggest songs.
Like,
of
think
its
about
era.
this. If Outkast,
I don't think it aged that well, but
if Outkast made a greatest hits and was including the Love Below speaker box, no, Hey Ya.
Hey Ya's gonna be on there.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to talk about in those terms, I think that Heartless could be on there for Ye. It's a hit. It's a big record. Now, if we're talking quality, I don't think that it stands up to the rest of his quality.
I'd rather listen to Yeezus.
I hear Yeezus is incredible, too, for the people that love it. Now, I'm not a big fan of the album, but
Blood on the Leaves is better than everything on 808s.
Blood on the Leaves is great.
That's
808s and Heartbreaks.
That's a top Kanye record.
808s and Heartbreaks kind of made Drake's career. It gave him that lane. He utilized 808s and Heartbreaks and made So Far Gone.
Did a way better job than Kanye did at it. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord.
I don't know. I don't know if So Far Gone is better than 808s and Heartbreaks.
Yes,
I don't know.
It's not even conversational.
That's hard to say.
One nigga can sing, one can't. The end. The end.
Love Below is a classic. No, they said 61% says no and 38% says yes. That's sad because back in the day, people would say that Love Below was classic. I guess things have changed.
A lot of those songs haven't held. It's
I
too
don't
damn
think
long.
Hey Ya's held up well.
It's too damn long for one, and that was Outkast's peak of their popularity. So literally, people was running around saying Stankonia was a classic too. Do you think Stankonia is a classic, Mike?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And that's funny. Like
And
more people felt like 808s and Heartbreaks was a classic than they did Love Below. That's interesting. So I guess people feel like 808s and Heartbreaks is better than Love Below. That's what I'm deducing from that.
I hope not.
Speaking of Andre, he recently in another interview said that he wants to do an Outkast album. He said the human side of him wants to do an Outkast album.
The what?
The human side. The human side of him wants to do an Outkast album.
What the hell does that mean?
I guess that means he's an alien. I don't know.
An AT alien?
And he said that
go perform the songs from the album.
He said he wants to do the album or wants to do an Outkast album. He said Big Boy never asked him to do an Outkast album. That's what he said.
Niggas shouldn't have to ask you to do your job. That's the wildest shit I heard this year. Like, of all the wild stuff he said, this is the wildest. Big Boy didn't ask me to do an Outkast album. What? Mike.
Dot with the super chat says, what made Drake's career was him stealing Big Sean's flow on his hit song Forever. Is that what did it? Anyway.
It's a multitude of things did it.
Yeah.
Mostly Wayne did it for him.
Yeah, mostly. Wayne and Ye, and I'll give him Big Sean. Mad Max in the super chat says, early Drake is making mood music over Hudson beats. 808s ain't really have the impact on Drake like y'all claim it did. Okay.
Hold on, that's Mike D that said that, Mad Max.
Yeah, I said that. Oh, they say I'm taking it out of context. Okay. Let me just pull up what he actually said then.
Are we taking it out of context now?
Since y'all want to be like that, we're taking it out of context. Okay. Let me see exactly what he said. I don't want to take Dre out of context.
I'd like to apologize to the real hip-hop fans. This is a sensitive-ass part of the discussion.
Yes.
Where we talk about the love below 808s and Heartbreaks. Well,
let me not take him out of context. I'm going to play it real quick, man. Let me see. Fair use. Let's see what he had to say.
It's ridiculous.
Here we go. Sorry. Live television, guys. Here it is.
He's so whack for this, man. Where my phone at?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Has he ever come at you and said, can we do this again?
No, to be honest, no. But I think because he knows who I am and knows what gets me going, knows what inspires me, knows when I'm excited about something, you know what I mean? So I think in that sense, he's never pushed that issue, but I'm sure, like, I want another Outkast album. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like in my mind, like, but see, that's the thing, that's the human side. Like, I wanted an Outkast album a long time ago. Yeah, and honestly, for me, like, as an individual, it would be gratifying to me to put out a solo kind of rap situation. But not for nobody else at this point. Like, it's for me because actually I like the challenge of how can I make this part of my life interesting in rhyming words? Yeah, I mean, it's still a challenge. So I think...
First of all, what white person is he talking to?
Intent, something will happen.
Did I take that out of context?
I'm going to need a therapist. I've already been looking for one.
He said that, that was the human side of him wants to make an Outkast album. He said he's been wanting to make an Outkast album, and he said he likes the challenge of making a rap solo situation. Now, I'm going to take his word.
These are bald-headed lies he's
That's
telling.
what he said. He said he wants an Outkast album. Andre 3000 said he wants an Outkast album. Now, it's 2023, about to be 2024. We haven't gotten an Outkast album in 23 years, going on 24 years.
These are bald
What has
lies.
actually been stopping that? Because Big Boy has gone out there on multiple occasions talking about a 10 the Hard Way record with Organized Noise and Dre and Big Boy, and they doing 10 songs. Big Boy has had to go out there and say that they have music on the way. They have this and that. So what exactly is stopping an Outkast album from happening? Is it the big bad people at Jive now? I don't even know if Jive is even operating anymore. Right.
Does Jive exist?
Because that was the excuse for a while. It was Jive. Now we get the Flute album.
I know it's some Jive.
Right. Now we get the Flute album on Epic Records. And is there an Outkast album coming?
Did this Negro just say, Big Boy ain't called me because he knows how I am about my inspiration? Pause. How about you call his black ass
he said that,
when you feeling inspired?
I don't want to take anything too out of context.
No, I'm taking it from what you just said.
He did say before this, because this was a clip, he did say that him and Big Boy are close, because that's what the interviewer asked, if him and Big Boy are close. That's how this whole thing came
Andre
about.
done popped up at his son's college football games and all that. That ain't got shit to do with no rap.
You know what it sounds like to me, and somebody said this in the chat. I think once he's made these initial statements about hip-hop and Outkast and rapping and things like that, he's seeing the reaction that people are getting from what he's saying, And now it sounds like he's backpedaling a little bit.
Backpedaling?
I've never heard him say, I want an Outkast album in 23 years.
Backpedaling like Deion Sanders in 89.
In 20
playing
years.
Cornerback.
I have never heard Dre say he wants an Outkast album. Ever.
So the guy that just said he wasn't interested in rap and didn't know what to talk about at 48 years old, correct? Mm-hmm. Is now saying that he's been wanting to make an Outkast album.
And he likes the challenge of putting together a solo rap album to challenge himself to rap about something.
These are bald-headed lies. Bald-headed lies.
Dre. I love Dre, man. I love Outkast. I think they're one of, if not the greatest, hip-hop group, duo, however you want to put it.
Greatest hip-hop group of all time just got residency in Vegas because they go out and perform their shit.
It's true. And you know what? Cass could have gotten that residency in Vegas years ago.
They have more mainstream appeal than Wu-Tang Clan does, actually.
They do.
They actually would have been the first one to get the residency had somebody actually wanted to perform these damn songs the last 2 decades.
And the Super Bowl. Because you remember Big Boy did the Super Bowl here in Atlanta by himself.
Very well aware of that.
By himself.
He does a lot of things by himself here in Atlanta.
The Braves night that they did an Outkast night for the people who don't know about a month ago.
Little bobblehead?
Yeah, with the bobbleheads. They had a whole Outkast menu at the Braves game. Big Boy showed up for that. I think Sleepy Brown too. Shout out to him. Dre wasn't there. You want an Outkast album?
Shit wild.
You want an Outkast album, the Atlanta Braves did a whole Outkast night, and you didn't show up for that. That wasn't a hip-hop thing, right?
You understand this is wild, right?
I'm just saying, man. You know what I mean?
Like, this is wild. You understand?
This is what I'm gonna say as a ATLian and somebody who grew up on their music and loves them to death, loves Dungeon Family to death, man. I don't believe you when you say you want an Outkast album.
When I go see my therapist, the first thing that I'm gonna do is you're gonna be like, Armand, what would you like to talk about today? Be like, hold on, cut this flute album on for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna get in to subject number 1.
And we're sorry for all the 3,000 talk, guys, but there just keeps being things said that we have to address. It seems like every show he's saying something different. And but you know what? Let's just hope that the reality is he does want to do an Outkast album, and let's just see it happen.
Stop that, Mike. Stop that. No, he doesn't.
He does. We'll believe it when we see it.
What is stopping him? What has been stopping him? Resources? No. Money? No. A willing partner? No. Willing producers? No.
This is the thing.
He don't want to do no damn Outkast album. What he not about to do is sit up here and lie to us.
Andre is just like the other Dre on the West Coast. If he gets up and wants to do something, everybody's moving. If Dr. Dre said today, you know what?
He don't got it like that, but I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean? But no, with the Dungeon he does. If he got up and said, you know what, man, we're going to bring this Dungeon Family album together or Outkast album together, and I'm really going to work on this, niggas is moving.
No, actually, I don't think niggas
You don't think so?
No, that time has come and gone.
You don't think that happens
We just
anymore?
got done selling Gipp's goodie bag around here. Big Boy got a whole career without him.
Yeah.
No, CeeLo has so many other endeavors. No, they're not getting up and jumping if he does that.
You're right.
Why would CeeLo jump for that? Why would Gipp jump for that? Why would Big Boy jump for that?
The kid in me wants to believe that's the reality.
Man,
maybe it's not.
The adult in me is going to get some therapy about it, Mike.
Mad Max in the Super Chat says, Andre is exiled from hip-hop. He's a flute former, an MC in disguise. Don't waste your breath on him. Knock off James Brown. He called him a knockoff James Brown.
It's disrespectful.
I would say a little bit more Jimi Hendrix-esque if we want to go.
No, both of those guys are creative geniuses.
No, for real.
That put out work that identified themselves as solo artists, as creative geniuses.
For sure.
He
and they put in a lot of work.
He's not that. James Brown's called the hardest working man in show business. That wasn't some made up shit.
No.
That was some real shit. Don't you ever compare.
He performed to the day he died.
Don't you ever compare Andre's non-working ass to James Brown. That is absurd.
James was on stage to the day he died.
He's still probably a top 5 stage performer of all time. Maybe
probably.
Top 3.
Who you got over James Brown?
On stage?
Yeah, like
Mike. Prince, if you want the full thing.
That's about it. Thumbs up in the chat.
That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it, man. I mean, because if we're talking about the band too, nah, man, there's not many people you can put ahead of James Brown.
Funky drummer.
Yeah, it's only really it's only Michael and Prince, and that can be argued.
That's argued.
Exactly.
That's arguable.
Exactly. Do you want to go ahead and go into the... No. We're going to go into this anniversary first before we get into this producer countdown. Because this producer countdown, this is going to be fun. Godson celebrates 21 years today. And speaking of albums that some people think are classic and some people don't, do you feel like Godson is a classic like many of our followers do? Nas is Godson, by the way.
No, it's not a classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great piece of work. It's part of arguably like his second win run. You know what I mean? If you look at it. But it's not a classic because when I said I made a list, I put it on Twitter today. Or what is it called now? It's just called X now? Is it not Twitter anymore?
I'm going to still call it Twitter.
Okay. Mama named him Clay. And Clay. I'm Clay. Yeah. Right. So I was on Twitter X today, and I literally just like with ease named 8 albums that he made better than Godson, and that would make that his 9th or his 10th best album, and he is the greatest MC of all time. But calling Godson a classic would pretty much be saying this man has about 9 or 10 classics, and that's not true.
Yeah. You know, I remember when Godson came out. I love Made You Look. I still think it's probably his strongest first single, in my personal opinion.
It ain't hard to tell.
Yeah, I'm with that
conversation.
Too. Yeah, but Made You Look's different.
Made You Look is different.
I guess maybe it's the time.
How about this? How about
and what
this?
was going on at the time too?
When you did that whole "Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See," and I was like, I'm not sure if that's top 50 songs. Like "Made You Look" is why.
What Made You Look's top 50 to me.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
I would actually put Made You Look in the top 50 over It Ain't Hard to Tell. That's how much.
I don't think you can do that because
strong I think Made You Look is.
It Ain't Hard to Tell is just one of those things when it drops, like the hip hop hit and people just goes, and it makes them smile. So it's like,
I mean, listen, man, it's a human nature sample. Come on, man, you already know where I'm at with
it. Like he would have 2 or 3 top 50 singles. It would be The World Is Yours, It Ain't Hard to Tell, and Made You Look. And Made You Look is arguably the best thing he's released as a first single, but the album's not a classic. But it has some of his best stuff on there. Like, how about this? Here's how I feel about it. Like, did you see my list on Twitter? I'll give you my list.
No, I didn't see the list on Twitter. Hold on. Andrew Williams with the super chat says, he says, if 444 is a classic to Jay-Z fans, then I'm calling Godson a classic.
Okay, 444 is not any good, though. So nobody cares what it's not any good.
I mean, the truth is, and I don't want to get into this whole diatribe, I think that 444 is, people want that album to be better than it is because you're probably not going to get another Jay-Z
It's not
album.
any good. Album sucks.
Yeah, we don't want to remember the fact that, you know, and we saw this when we were going through the best verses on each Jay-Z album. After American Gangster, there's a dip, man. Like when you get to Blueprint 3.
It's a dive, not a dip.
Yeah, you get to Blueprint 3, you get to Holy Grail, you get to 444. It's like,
holy moly.
Yeah, man. I mean, and I guess people want to give some redeeming value to the brand and make 444 seem better than it is, but we
that
can't. That
album is not any good.
It's not. I mean, you know,
it's not
speaking
any good.
Of which, No ID didn't make my top 25.
He didn't make mine either.
Because, you know, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just being real here. I've never heard somebody play a song that No ID produced and be like, yo, who made that beat? Have you?
I mean, he wasn't even part of my editing process when I edited it down to 25, and I didn't include groups, like production groups. And so,
I did. Well,
so if I was doing a top 50 list, he might make the top 50 list, but he would literally be somewhere between 45 to 50 on the list.
What's the best beat he made?
I believe I always liked Invocation on One Day It'll All Make Sense. I think that's No ID. I think he did Hungry too.
He did Hungry, I think.
Yeah. I would pick Hungry or Invocation off One Day It'll All Make Sense.
I'm gonna go DOA, but I think that, you know,
I don't love that beat.
Kanye might be involved in that.
Kanye's not involved with that beat, man. But here's what I got. Here's what I realized.
What about Thank You? I think he did that.
I like Thank You.
That beat was dope.
Thank You is dope.
Yeah.
Illmatic. It was written.
Okay.
Stillmatic. Now people were getting on me saying like, Coop, you said that Lost Tapes is better than Stillmatic. Personally. But let's just point out
Stillmatic's the better album.
Here's the thing with Stillmatic. On the Lost Tapes, is there a story on there? Because Blaze of 50, Papa Was a Player, and Drunk by Myself is on the Lost Tapes. So 3 great stories. Is any of those stories better than Rewind?
No.
Is there a mic performance on the Lost Tapes like What Goes Around?
No, I don't think so.
Ether, Mike. Ether is an adjective. Like what happened to the New Orleans Pelicans when they played the Lakers? They got ethered. Ether is an adjective, Mike. And plus, Stillmatic has the Stillmatic intro, which gives it more of an album feel. And so that was my rationale.
And it has records like what's it called? Shit.
You're the Man. One Mic. The Flyest with AZ. Destroy and Rebuild.
I just feel like when you have to make big records, it's different than, you making a bunch of core records for your core fan base. And I would have to give Stillmatic the nod because it just had to do more.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about KD3 too, to be perfectly honest. It's like it had to do more.
So much like I prefer the Lost Tapes and prefer Magic 3, objectively, first of all, my reason for putting Magic 3 behind KD3 on this list that I'm about to list off has more to do with, Magic 3 hasn't had time to sit. And I told you, Magic 3 is going to have some It Was Written type of qualities to it where people really aren't going to appreciate it until a few years after that it's actually like sat on you totally. But Illmatic, It Was Written, Lost Tapes, KD3. Those are the top 5. I'm going to go Life is Good at 6, Magic 3 at 7, Magic at 8, and then I'm giving Godson the slight edge over KD2.
You put Magic at 8?
I did.
I'm surprised you got Life is Good over Magic.
Because here's the thing about it, and this is what I mean about doing an objective list. How long has Life is Good been out?
10 years now.
It's holding up remarkably well. How long has Magic and Magic 3 been out?
Yeah, it hasn't been as long.
We can't be so quick to jump. Let's see how Magic 3 and Magic hold up. KD3 has a lot of Stillmatic-like qualities to it. Big stage, big performance. Solo mission.
That's the other really special thing about
Solo
KD3
mission
as well.
It's
17-track solo mission.
On your 49th year on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I see people in the chat saying that Magic 3 is better than KD3, but that's a good problem to have.
I personally feel that way.
You've said this.
But what I'm saying is that Magic 3 and Magic haven't been out long enough. The staying power on Life is Good is real, Mike. You can listen to Cherry Wine and stay today.
I love Cherry Wine.
You can listen to Locomotive today. Has somebody that now has a daughter who is 16 years old, like his daughter was when he made this song, oh, the way that record is staying with me, it's like, no. My daughter was like a baby when that record came out, and I felt it. Themes. Now, timeless theme. So Life is Good is holding up extremely well. I don't think that it's better song for song than KD3 right now as it stands because big moment, big stage, solo mission he performed. Magic 3 and Magic are probably going to move up on this list over time. Time. You have to give stuff time and make sure that it holds. We talk a lot. We're going to have this during the producer conversation. I had to realize that some people who I love, it's like, well, how that shit holding up?
Exactly. I had to have that realization too.
How's it holding up?
Yeah.
And after that,
Timberland was one of the people I had to have that realization with.
And so after Magic, I'm going Godson. Because here's why I got Godson over KD2. KD2 is actually in the end a better album than Godson. But Get Down, Made You Look. And as Sean from Hip Hop Talks pointed out this morning, Last Real Nigga Alive. Oh, those 3 albums?
To me.
Those are 10s.
3 songs. Yeah.
Those are 3 10s.
To me, Last Real Nigga Alive is my favorite song in that whole back and forth.
Really?
It is.
I forgot how cold the record was. I played it this morning, and I was like, yeah. And
it's him doing what he does best, telling stories. So it's like, what's not to love about that? And then when he ends it with the gift and the curse, fuck that shit. The first will be last. I'm a man's man. A rapper's rapper. G-O-D-S-O-N and be none after.
I was Scarface.
Jay was Manolo. It hurt when I had to kill him and his whole squad for Dolo. It's like, damn, man.
It hurts because it's true, too.
Because it's like, and it's nothing you can do about it. you can send the state property guys at me. You can send whatever.
You can't fade me. And here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about Last Real Nigga Alive. I forgot how cold that hook is.
Yeah.
He's a great hook writer, Mike.
He is.
He's just nice. He just sliced like a Ginsu. Look at the life that I've been. Yeah, he's
a great writer on all levels.
And so
Black Wealth and Power with the super chat says, what's the difference between a classic album and a great album to you two? Can you define the two? Huh.
No, okay, so
go ahead.
Here's the thing, like, is there a whack song on Godson?
I'm not a big fan of Book of Rhymes and stuff like that.
I love Book of Rhymes by Alchemist.
And
That's
I really
great.
don't love the Eminem produced record. I really don't love Alicia Keys on this.
Warrior Song?
Yeah.
You just don't like Alicia Keys. Warrior Song's straight. Here's what I mean. Like, Godson doesn't have necessarily any records where you're like, man, that song's trash. But it's not
I
like...
Can is on there too, right?
Yeah, forgot about I Can.
It's a big record.
That happy
I know
shit.
you hate it.
I don't hate I Can.
You don't? Dave and Buster's used to play that shit all the time when we worked there.
I can't stand I Can.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like I Can.
And the
But I
last
get it.
verse was cool.
I get it. The last verse is what saves it for me.
It was very You Must Learn.
You know what I hated about it? I hate how 50 like approached it when they was having their issue. Now Nas love the kids. 50 on that killer shit.
I love how 50 just uses anything against anybody.
No. That shit was funny when he did that. I was like, I don't like that he did that. That's why I really don't like the record. I don't like how 50 turned it around on him. Like, it's like
that was a big record for Nas. I would imagine that's one of his bigger records.
It is one of his biggest records.
Yeah.
It is. That was one of his records that got played all the time on radio and on TV. And so it's a big moment for him. And Godson is great because it's a collection of good songs with some really, really classic shit on there. And that's usually what a great album is. And that's why I brought up Get Down, Last Real Nigga Alive, and Made You Look. Because you can have a great album that be full of good songs, and the album's just good. And it's those classic songs that take it over the top and make it great. And so it's a collection of good songs. Like Book of Rhymes is dope.
Well, I would say, do you think great and classic are the same thing? Because I don't.
No.
I think that
That's why I said it's great.
I think that what happens is the impact is what makes that difference to me. Where it's like a classic album, it has all of those great things, but also has the impact to boot. Whereas you could have a great album that kind of fell on deaf ear. And not to anybody's fault, but just because it didn't have those game-changing records. You know what I mean?
Heaven is the shit. The way the album
Heaven's
is Heaven.
dope.
What do you say? Making hits is easy. Put a famous bitch on the hook. There you go with a platinum CD. I know you heard the noise. Preachers touching on little boys, sodomizing, not realizing God is watching before the Lord.
Yeah.
He's in his bag on that album, so it's got what a great album has. It's got some classic moments. It's got some great moments. It's got some good moments. It's a great album. I personally think that Hey Nas is probably the weakest song on there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
think so too.
When that's the weakest song, Revolutionary Warfare was the shit with Lake. It's like, no, he's got some shit on there.
I like where he was mentally on that album.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Just the approach of it. And again, that's probably where the whole Make You Look thing comes from with me. Because I remember what was going on with him at the time. He was just kind of like, you know, it was Nas against the world at that point. And then to have a record start off with a gunshot and then, you know what I'm saying, that Apache loop.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy. And then the video on top of that.
It's the hook, Mike.
It's crazy,
you a slave
man.
to a page in my rhyme book. When I heard that, I was like,
let's get it all in perspective.
It's not even like, it's not even one of his best mic performances lyrically, but there's something about him on that record where it's just like he's there.
Feel.
It's the feel.
It's the intangibles.
You want to
there,
know what?
Man. It's soul. The things we can't describe.
He feels like you feel like he's the king on that record. Like it's like no, that's the guy. Like right now.
Yeah.
That's how that record feels.
To me, not a lot of people have songs better than Made You Look. I mean, when Irv Gotti got on, I think it was Drink Champs, one of them podcasts, and Irv says a lot of things. Irv knows his shit. That's one thing I'll always respect about Irv. But when he said Made You Look, it was like either Nas' best song or one of the best songs ever. I understand where he's coming from because I feel the same way.
It feels that way.
That shit's insane, man.
Yeah. No, it's like
and it made me feel like him and Salaam Remi for a moment really, really had something. And I wanted to hear more of that. And I think they did have something.
They did have something.
But Made You Look made it feel like it was more than what it even was. You know what I mean?
Made You Look is the pinnacle of what they had.
Oh, yeah.
But Get Down, which is the James Brown sample, Get Down.
Oh, yeah, I love Get Down.
That's one of his better stories, too.
Mm-hmm.
New York streets where killers will walk like Pistol Pete and Pappy Mason gave the young boys admiration.
What James Brown song was that? Was that, shit. It was from the Black Caesar soundtrack. I think it was the New York City record. Dot with the super chat says, y'all may need to re-listen to Godson tonight.
No, there ain't no change in that beat on The Cross by Eminem. There's not no change in Hey Nas. The Warrior song could have been better.
Is Eminem on your producer list? I have to ask. He produced a lot in that.
See
era.
what I go through?
He produced a lot of his stuff too.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He produced Lose Yourself. He produced Renegade.
I'm not going to acknowledge you while you do this.
The Cross.
I'm going to read the chat. Let me know when you're
Moment
finished.
of Clarity.
It's ridiculous.
He also produced I'm on Fire for Lloyd Banks. Actually, I think Kwame did something on there too, actually. Yeah. Anyway. Godson.
They think
21 years.
They think that we're underrating Godson. What is Godson better than? Like, y'all think Godson's better than Life is Good? That's that Made You Look factor.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about a few records that are better. First of all, he's like Made You Look has something beat on like all his albums except for the first two. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the fact of the matter. But if you look, you got to start, and we're going to talk about this when we have the producer conversation. Stop looking at classic songs on great albums and start looking at the body of work. Life is Good as a body of work. It's better end to end. It just is. He's more consistent.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Godson. I wasn't a big fan of Street Disciple when they both came
here's
out.
the thing about it. You want to talk about impact, and here's why I do have Life is Good as high as I do. Life is Good and Blueprint 3 taught grown ass niggas how to rap about grown up shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the first time that I had heard rappers at the stage they were at their perspective time talk about grown men issues. Yeah. Like, they weren't talking about like street shit or hood shit anymore, or being in the projects. Shit, yeah. Right. They were talking about the things that grown ass men in reality go through, like the Bye Bye Baby with Aaron Hall. Like, even the album cover lets you know it's a grown man's rap album.
You're right.
It's like he's got his ex-wife's wedding dress on the album cover. Yeah. It's like, when he starts off with no introductions, like, and me who wasn't the most faithful husband, it's like, no, this is shit that rappers weren't saying then. Yeah. Now everybody's sharing their fucking grown ass feelings now.
You're right. Magic with the super chat says, KD and Magic trilogies remind me of Stillmatic and Godson Nas.
I agree.
If we're gonna throw Godson into the KD trilogy,
it's better than KD 1 and KD 2. It's not better than KD 3. It's not. And people have to understand this. And I didn't learn this until I really interviewed Hit, and until I talked to Taj. He has a fan base that starts at Stillmatic and runs up to Life is Good.
Mm-hmm.
We're Illmatic, It Was Written fans. And so our lens is different. And so when we hear Last Real Nigga Alive and Get Down and Made You Look, that reminds of us our Illmatic, It Was Written. That reminds us of Nasty Nas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a whole section of fans of his that don't feel that way.
Right.
They're Stillmatic fans. You get what I'm saying?
As they should be, you know what I mean? Because it's a different era. It's a different phase.
Right. And so you have to understand that he has a legion of fans that go from Stillmatic to Life is Good. And Life is Good for them is the pinnacle of that moment in time, bookend with Stillmatic on one side and Life is Good on the other. Over that 10-year stretch. We look at it totally because of our age. Like, Illmatic, It Was Written. These right here.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know how to come up off that. And Godson makes us nostalgic of that.
You're right.
But it ain't like that in the end.
Yo, Lenny was just hitting me up on the phone, man.
Production-wise, Godson does suffer from some missteps.
It does. And I always felt like that. Lennox just hit me on the phone, man. We gotta plug High Gravity Hip Hop in the goodie bag. I know you didn't bring the goodie bag, but you got the goods for the goodie bag, and let people know what it is.
Yeah, the goodie bag. First of all, I love the fact that when you actually see the post on social media, it's goodie bag playing from Soul Food. $400 bag, a little Christmas invite. Gip is actually hand delivering the bags. It has his South is Spoken pills in there, a 4-pack of that. It has strawberry CBD gummies, has a little blueberry scissor, has some Zaga tequila, which is CBD infused and based.
I think I'm gonna take the blueberry gummies tonight.
And it's actually, and I keep telling people this because I'm always doing something, so I'm always carrying stuff. Like my backpack is right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a backpack. It's a cooler backpack. Like you can literally carry it around as a backpack. It has a zipper pouch in the front, 2 pouches on the side, but it's a cooler inside. it's like perfect for your ATL shenanigans. Yeah, it's a good Christmas gift. It's good stocking stuffer. Like I personally, when Lennox hit me with the bag, like I didn't even put it on social media. I sent it like individually to like people that I knew may want to grab a bag.
Yeah, and you can go get it at highgrab.com. You can actually go to our community section here on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? We got the link right there. Yeah. And it's on all our social media platforms as well.
Lennox was talking about putting a little mixtape together too for some local artists. And I'm going to help him.
Lennox got to get on the show and come holler at the people and, you know what I'm saying, give them a breakdown of the great things that, you know, they got going on. And, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to everything that's coming up in 2024, you know, with the brand and continuously furthering the education with the brewery and Black-owned brewers.
Yeah, well, he's doing a building fund too, because he wants to get a brick and mortar for high gravity hip hop, and so we're going to assist in that process and that journey as well.
For sure. Andrew Williams of the Super Chat says KD2 is better from end to end than Godson. I'd probably rather listen to KD2, but see, the tiebreaker there is going to be Make You Look and Last Real Nigga Alive.
And Get Down. That's what I mean. Like, because here's the thing. First of all, there's nothing on KD2 fucking with Made You Look. There's not. Store Run and Nobody, probably the best records. I don't think that's trumping Made You Look and Last Real Nigga Alive.
No.
And what you do when it's close, you do go with the classic shit.
You gotta go with the heavyweights.
Yeah, like Made You Look is some Thriller in Manila type of record. Like, nigga, that ain't no regular fight.
That's a haymaker.
That's a haymaker of a fight.
It's nothing on KD2 touching that.
Niggas is risking their life about Made You Look when it come on. You feel what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah.
Andrew Williams with the Super Chat says, when y'all doing the Pac versus Biggie? I backed out Friday.
As soon as Mike stopped ducking me, I'm glad Mike said it. We were supposed to do it last Friday.
We were.
Mike
I backed
was
out.
Mike was like, I have some obligations I have to take care of. I was like, man, sick of this guy ducking me, man.
I got to do it though, man. It's got to get done. I got my list though. I was ready to do it. Just
sure you
family-ish, Ill Magic with the Super Chat says, facts, Coop. For us young millennials, our childhood and teen years was Nas started with Stillmatic and Godson.
Yeah.
And it's funny, man, because I kind of correlate damn near everything to Michael Jackson, but when you think about the first Michael Jackson that we actually were basically
that second Mike
seeing was Bad.
That's Mike number 2.
Exactly.
Like,
so our parents were like, well, obviously our parents were probably on the Jackson 5 stuff, but they actually grew up or was dancing and going to the club with Off the Wall.
Here's
we grew up on Bad.
See, here's how niggas need to look at it. It's like, if you're a Nas fan that's our age, you are off the wall nigga.
Exactly.
That's exactly off the wall nigga.
You don't know. That's exactly what it is.
Right. And so we be on that off the wall shit that Mike's fans is on. Is just like, I don't know about this Thriller, this Bad thing. Where's the nigga that made Rock With You?
Exactly. Because when Bad came out, I'm sure that the people who were off the wall niggas is like,
man, what is this?
Right. But we're like, yo, this
is great. This is great. It's
exactly.
Like Man in the Mirror, Dirty Diana.
Exactly what this is.
Right. And that's exactly what this is. But much like, with Nas, it's like, no, people have to understand that because his career has spanned generations, he has fans that aren't addicted to Illmatic and It Was Written Like We Are.
They didn't come up on it.
They didn't come up on it.
They had to go back and listen to it.
They came up in a different time. I didn't realize it until I talked to Hit. I was like, oh shit. He's listening to us because he's younger than us. He didn't come up like, you know what it meant to like have a copy of Illmatic? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we was a kid, it's like, niggas would be talking about it. It's like, yeah, I broke my tape already. It's like I got to go buy another copy of Illmatic.
It's different when you were there as opposed to having to go back to it. Because like you said, I mean, to correlate it back to Michael again, like, I love Off the Wall. I went back for it, but the feeling of Bad and knowing what it was like for me when I heard it for the first time and that whole rollout.
The Smooth Criminal video, the rollout for Bad. Right.
So it sticks with you, even though I know that Off the Wall is a better album, I actually have bad memories.
Right.
Where I don't have memories of Off the Wall. Whereas somebody who's a Nas listener from the Stillmatic, Godson era, they don't have Illmatic memories.
Right. They have Stillmatic, Godson, Lost Tape memories.
Yeah.
Those are great fucking memories to have.
They are. Dame with the Super Chat says Godson versus Forest Hill Drive.
Godson.
Godson to me.
Tiebreaker is the Haymakers.
Yeah.
Made You Look. There's not anything close to
I'm going to be
Major
honest, man. I'm not as big on Forest Hills Drive as everybody else.
It's a solo mission, Mike.
It is a solo mission.
It's a solo mission. It's end to end.
I feel like we give the album points because of who made it.
It's end to end production and MCing by him, though. End to end. It is pretty special in that regard.
Is Michael album of the year?
Who?
Michael, the album.
Killer Mike?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
Okay. Glad you asked.
Ready
Answers
to do
no.
this top 25
no.
producers.
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody in the mainstream is saying it is.
Look here. It's officially to the point that when Charlemagne says something album of the year, I know that's some bullshit.
Oh, no. When all the mainstream people get on code to say the same album as album of the year, it's like, I don't know, guys. I don't know.
It's not.
When's the last time the mainstream got it right?
I'm still waiting.
I'm trying to think. It's been a minute.
I'm still waiting.
It's been a minute.
No, I'm still waiting.
Trying to think, man. When's the last time the mainstream really rallied behind a great hip-hop album that deserved to get that adulation? Because I don't even feel like they did that with Daytona.
Oh, my God. You're going to have to go back to, like, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy days.
Well, there it is, yeah.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
That's the last one.
That is the last time.
That is the last time ever. No, but...
You're right.
The album was worth that, though. Like, it deserved all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to go with my list first?
Have at it.
All right. Well, basically, I put my list together based on album making ability was high for me, right? Because like we said earlier in the show, not every great hip-hop producer has actually exceeded in that feat to actually make a great or produce a great album from end to end. Very few.
So Dr. Dre's number one then?
He's not. But he's top 3. He's not. I love Dre.
No, I'm about to tear your argument apart.
I love
Go
Dre.
ahead. No.
Oh, I'm about to tear y'all argument apart too.
No,
I have.
you don't have
reasons.
an argument.
I have reasons
You don't
why
have
Dr.
an
Dre's
argument.
not number one. I've been listening to Suge Knight's podcast a lot. I have a lot of reasons why Dr. Dre's not number one.
First of all, never mind. I'm not even going there. We just gonna wait. We just gonna wait. Like Mike,
I know y'all listening to Suge's podcast out there too.
If anybody has an axe to grind with Dr. Dre, Mike, who would that be? Just so we clear.
I mean, it's,
Okay.
Suge did a lot. Dari Star
Suge didn't make no damn beats, Mike.
Suge cleared the samples. Suge got a lot of those people together.
So Sylvia Rone,
but honestly,
Sylvia Rone and Lyor Cohen deserve to be called.
No, all jokes aside, a lot of people made those beats. We know that. A lot of people made those.
Mike,
beats.
I talked to Chris the Glove Taylor
I know.
on
I
a
was
3-part
there.
series. We've had this discussion.
We were there. I was
not
there.
Conversational after the Glove interviews.
I was there. Dari Star with the super chat says, the same you guys are saying about Nas applies to Kanye. He's right. I'm 22. Most people in my generation would say 808s and Yeezus are classic, but people who started with College Dropout don't feel the same way. He's right.
Well,
Kanye's another one of those generational guys.
Well, there's a difference.
Jay's like that too.
Well, there's a difference. The records that we're talking about, no, the Nas records we're talking about, Stillmatic, Godson, and Lost Tapes, those albums are actually good. Next.
I disagree with you.
Those albums are actually good.
I think that each generation connects with, a certain era of an artist.
You can connect with an artist, don't mean the album's good.
I think Graduation is in that plane too. Graduation's a game changer for a whole generation.
No, Graduation is like that. 808s and Yeezus ain't like that.
A$AP Rocky and Big Sean, that whole era of guys, they swear by Graduation.
It's cool to swear by Graduation. Swearing by 808s and Heartbreaks and Yeezus means you don't know your shit.
Graduation's $1 million in a week, man. On top of that,
we're not talking about Graduation. We're talking about this whack ass 808s and Yeezus.
Stop
trying to throw Graduation in there with that.
But I'm just talking about the impact for different.
Impact
eras.
for Graduation is there.
Esquire with the super chat says, "How do y'all reconcile calling? FHD a classic, which it is, but rank it under a non-classic Godson, which is still a top 8 Nas album. Forest Hill Drive, listen, I will acknowledge how you guys feel about Forest Hill Drive. I'm just talking about me personally. I would say,
I think it's a great album.
In the grand scheme of things, if we're talking about the populace and we're talking about, the impact and the impact it made on the culture and everybody around it, yes, I'm going to put Forest Hill Drive over Godson. But if I'm going to listen to one of those albums first, it's going to be Godson. That's where I'm at with it.
Objectively speaking, Forest Hills Drive this is my problem with this era. It's a classic for this era. Compare it to another era, it's just a great album.
Again.
The fact that how about this? Even if you feel like Godson is, let's say, a top 5 Nas album, and I don't see at this point how you could even fucking fix your mouth to say some shit like that. But let's say that you felt that way. We shouldn't be comparing Cole's best album to Nas's 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th best album anyway. That's why he needs to drop this fucking album.
Well, see, that's the problem I have with Forest Hill Drive. I feel like we only talk about it because of who made it.
Sick of these punk ass kids.
I really do, man. I mean, I think that albums like To Pimp a Butterfly clearly stand on their own. Good Kid, Mad City stands on its own, regardless if Kendrick made it or not. We might do a little bit of that with Damn.
A lot of hype with To Pimp a Butterfly, Mike. There's a lot of hype.
I think To Pimp a Butterfly is brilliant, but yeah, it is a lot of hype. But a lot of that hype actually came after the fact, and I will agree with you on that. But for us who fucked with it from day one, it's real.
The hype for To Pimp a Butterfly is centered around how great Good Kid, Mad City was more than anything else. The hype leading into it. It's like, what's he going to do after dropping arguably the best album of this era? Because, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Good Kid, Mad City are the 2 best albums between 2010 and 2015.
But what I will say about To Pimp a Butterfly, after coming off of an album, that was so highly regarded, no one said it was a drop-off. That conversation wasn't out there that there was a sophomore jinx or anything like that.
Not a sophomore jinx.
You know what I mean? Like, clearly some people like Good Kid, Mad City more.
Because it's better.
But it wasn't one of those things where people were like, oh, man, Kendrick fell off. It wasn't.
Oh, no.
It wasn't.
Oh, no. As a writer,
because that's a big album to have to follow up. I'm
cool. How about this? To Pimp a Butterfly has some It Was Written qualities in terms of how intensive the writing is. Is a follow-up to a classic. The writing is more intensive. Just how like the writing on It Was Written is more intensive on It Was Written than it is on Illmatic. Well, the writing on To Pimp a Butterfly is more intensive than it is on Good Kid, Mad City, but it doesn't provide that same fucking feeling because the themes aren't as timeless. But it's got its moments. Yeah. And you could say lyrically might still be his best project as far as
I'm a weirdo. I like the creativity of that album. I just felt like, Good Kid, Mad City was more of his industry album. He executed on it perfectly. But, some of them skits to me just seem so programmed. You know what I mean? Sounds very...
The skits, first of all, the skits on Good Kid, Mad City are fucking 20 times better than the skits on To Pimp a Butterfly. The program shit is on To Pimp a Butterfly. I was lost. Following the evils of Lucy. No, that was the problem with that album.
Everything he does is theatrical. Now, let's be honest. Everything Kendrick does is theatrical.
Mike, the To Pimp a Butterfly skits is part of what drugged that album down.
The one moment I didn't like, there's 2 moments on To Pimp a Butterfly I didn't like. I didn't love the King Kunta moment, but I get it. He needed a single on an album like that.
Beat is terrible.
And I didn't love that You song. I didn't love that shit. Big G with the super chat says Michael and Quincy is a perfect song. No song on Nas's album touch it.
Loving You is complicated.
Not Made You Look. I'm Illmatic to now Nas fan. Quote the record and still tell me I'm wrong. DJ Bruce Almighty with the super chat says better discography, 50 or Ross. Esquire with the super chat says so at best Daytona is a classic by today's standards.
First of all, Daytona is better than Forest Hills Drive.
Yes.
Daytona's just a classic.
I get offended if anybody says otherwise. What are we listening
but
to?
You won't fight for Hell Hath No Fury. This is wild.
I like Hell Hath No Fury, but it's not Daytona.
It is.
To me.
It's better than Daytona.
It's not Daytona.
It is.
LP with the super chat says
Daytona's a top 5 album of this era. It would be objectively Alfredo, Pray for Paris. Not in any particular. Pray for Paris, Alfredo, Daytona, Magic 3, KD3, Magic, Astro World, Victory Lap.
Yeah, it's in that vein.
It's
a masterpiece.
Those are the albums that are comparable to Daytona for this era.
I have Daytona on vinyl. I think I'm going to go listen to it tonight. I literally have Daytona on vinyl. I don't think I have anything from this era like that on vinyl.
See, I'm at this point that it's like I mostly listen to rap that I need to listen to about this show. Outside of the records that I want to hear, Mike, I play What Would Meek Do every fucking week. There's not a week that goes by that I don't play What Would Meek Do.
Man, when you start off an album, man, the way he did, ran off the plug too like True Goy. Imagine me do, boy. You can never do what I do, boy. Still ducking shit that I did, boy. Niggas in Paris for hit, boy. These ain't the same type of hits, boy. Shit can get litter than lit, boy. The whole album's like this.
Actually,
like the whole album.
Bar-wise,
like
If You Know You Know is him toned down. Because the rest of the album lyrically is better than If You Know You Know. If You Know You Know is one of Kanye's best beats, Mike.
Hey, man, if you want to say that.
No, it is. It's one of his best beats.
LP with the super chat says.
What's Kanye's best beat, Mike?
That's hard, man. That's very difficult.
He doesn't really make beats like.
Well, you know what? Mike, our top 5 segment today could be Kanye's top 5 beats.
He don't have like no 10 Crack Commandments type of beat where you're like, whoa. He don't like.
You don't think Dreams is like that?
No,
in the game.
I never looked at Dreams beat wise the way everybody else did.
I never really looked. I mean, I like 10 Crack Commandments. Don't get it twisted. But I don't hold it as high as you do. 1,000,001, yes. But 10 Crack Commandments is a dope beat.
10 Crack Commandments is a better beat than 1,000,001, Mike.
No, it's not.
Put it in
we
the
gotta
poll.
put that in the poll.
Put it in the chat, please.
No. 1,000,001's beat is better than 10 Crack Commandments.
No, it's not.
LP with the super chat says people play instruments.
The Evils is better than 1,000,001 beat wise, Mike.
Well, the Evils is better than 10 Crack Commandments too.
Yeah.
LP with the super chat says people play instruments and Dre made them beats. No different than sampling a core loop. Same stuff Dilla did, but with live instruments.
Thank you, LP.
Was it?
Mike out here throwing shade on the greatest producer of all time.
Yeah. Dory Star with the super chat.
It ain't fucking Kanye. If you say Kanye, I'm going to tear you apart with my Dr. Dre argument. You better get ready.
Yeah,
I'm going to tear you apart.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Dory Star with the super chat says, did you guys hear Busta say that if Kendrick was active the same time Cole is right now, people would not be saying Cole's the better MC right now? You know what? He got to stop that aftermath talk. If nigga get active. Don't tell me if this was happening, both of them niggas the same age. Why isn't Kendrick active? No, Cole is running circles around it right now. Kendrick's never been a strong featured act. He's never been a strong featured MC. Don't make excuses for the man that's not working versus the man that is working. I don't like that.
Last scene, active, dropping extremely whack shit. Next.
Black Wealth and Power with the super chat says, I'm a younger guy. I remember Jay's Blueprint 3 being a cultural movement. Is that just me, or do you guys remember that differently? I just remember the marketing was heavy on it.
That's what I mean about the grown man. The marketing was real, but I do feel some of what he's saying because that's what I mean. The Blueprint 3 and Life is Good are the transition into grown-up adult contemporary rap music.
What have I said about the Blueprint 3 on this show many, many times? It's the last Jay-Z album where Jay-Z was Jay-Z that we remember.
Correct.
So
I agree.
So yeah, there was fanfare around it for that. I remember he was doing the MTV Awards. You know, we were in New York. He pulled up in the motorcade. Did Empire State of Mind. Lil Mama came up with the pose. They did Lil Mama wrong. They should have embraced her in that situation. She was feeling it. That was the most memorable moment. They did do her wrong.
They did her wrong.
They could have just went along with it, man. She was showing love. She from New York, man.
So Lil Mama got done wrong. OJ didn't do it.
Yep.
Just stop.
Is that all you got?
That's pretty big, Mike.
OJ didn't do it. But let's get to this countdown. Oh, let's see what's going on here. My bad.
OJ didn't do it.
He didn't.
Yeah. The 6'2", 250-pound running back couldn't overpower some 5'7" white guy and his skinny-ass ex-wife.
Well, it wasn't that part of it. It's the fact that he had caught a flight.
After he murdered them, Mike.
So is that what you do for your first time murdering 2 people? You know what I mean?
When you're OJ, and you got a Hertz membership that you don't have to pay
When you got
for.
a Hertz membership. Okay, 1,000,001 won 51% to 48% over 10 Crack Commandments. It was close. All right, this is what I'm going to do. I want to go ahead and just say Rick Rubin and Larry Smith, I already have them like somewhere else. They're not on this countdown because, you know, how pivotal they are to
Rick
hip-hop
Rubin's
production.
on here.
I just feel like Rick Rubin just didn't have enough. And you know what? I didn't feel like I could fairly place Rick Rubin or Larry Smith. You know what I mean? Just based on how early they were to the party. And that's no disrespect. So it's like they're on the list but not on the list. Kind of like on some Melly Mel, Kool Mo D type shit, right?
No, I don't understand.
Easy Mo B is my 26. Let me just say that.
26 or 25?
26. I put DJ Mustard at 25.
You got Mustard at 25?
He had a moment, man. Like, it was a moment where everything you heard was on some DJ Mustard. He had an identifiable sound, and you know what I'm saying? He had a time, and not everybody can say that.
What's Mustard's best album or beats? Okay.
I would say YG's breakthrough album.
That's not good enough to make this list. Mike,
Okay.
real quick, just want to go through some of Rick Rubin's production credits. Walk This Way, Rock the Bells, It's Yours, My Adidas, It's Tricky, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, Paul Revere, Fight for Your Right, He's in the Top 25. Rock the Bells still plays, Mike.
Rock the Bells is special.
So is Walk This Way.
Of course he's top
These
25.
are groundbreaking.
They are. I just didn't know where to put him or Larry Smith. I mean, I could say the same thing about Larry Smith.
The guy that did Bad and License to Ill isn't on this list, Mike. And in Run DMC's first two albums? First two, right?
No, he didn't do the whole. No, Larry Smith did the first two. Larry Smith's the one that did the albums. He did the Houdini's album that had Freaks Come Out at Night, Friends, One Love. So clearly I'm not slighting them in that sense.
Feels kind of
I just
slightish.
want to put them somewhere else because of how early they were. You know what I mean? That's it.
You're wild.
No, that's why I wanted to go ahead and just get that out
Mustard
the way.
on this list? Okay, just keep going, Mike.
All right. So, what did I say? Yeah. Mustard. All right. And I got Timbaland at 24, actually.
That's cool.
And I got Timbaland at 24 before people go crazy is because we're talking about hip-hop producer. If we were talking about all-around producer, this would be something else, right? Timbaland's this high up because his hip-hop catalog really isn't like that. Trackmasters. Then I got Eric Sermon.
Where's Eric Sermon at?
Hold on 1 second. He's actually at 22.
It might be a little.
And then I got DJ Quick.
You got Quick that far back?
I do. There's a lot of great producers who've done this, man.
Mike list trash. Mike list trash. This a trash list. He got DJ. You got DJ Quick where?
I think DJ Quick's at about 21, looks like. Something like that.
I'm out.
All right, and I got Mike Wilmade. Yep.
You fucking serious, Mike?
Yeah, man, you know.
Are you fucking
He
serious?
has some hits, man.
Keep going, Mike.
Then I got DJ Muggs. Then I got Manny Fresh. Then I got Just Blaze. Then I got Organized Noise. Bomb Squad. The Alchemist. Havoc. Metro Boomin. Yeah, I know you're gonna hate that. Then I got Dilla.
You got Metro over Havoc. How?
You know how many records Metro has?
You just said earlier on, and we had a whole conversation about albums.
Yeah.
Where's Metro's infamous Hell on Earth Murder Music at?
Well, where is Havoc's, individual solo spots of what Metro's done?
And what are we usually weighted on when it comes to the MC?
He was in a group though.
Ain't nobody trying to hear all
He
that.
was in
What
a
are we usually
because this
weighted
is
on,
but
Mike?
this is the
You
thing.
wild.
This is why I weighed it out this way, right? Because Havoc's stuff is based on him being in a group. Who else has he made albums for?
Name me the classic Metro album, Mike.
He didn't come up in an album era. He didn't. And many could say him and Future got a classic together. Many could say that Savage Mode classic for its era. Brother Gabe with the super
Savage
chat
Mode is
says,
great, but it's not a classic. It's great though.
Ooh, Brother Gabe said Draymond suspended indefinitely by the NBA. Wow.
Good. Mental health is real. That nigga need to go get some help.
He doing too much, man.
He's worse than Kanye.
I have no comment for that. All right,
I bet not, because you about to cape and put this nigga at the top of the list. I'm about to tear your list apart.
And then I got Dilla.
What number is Dilla at?
Dilla is at number 11.
So you have Metro ahead of Havoc.
Mm-hmm. Got Metro ahead of Havoc.
You think Mask Off and Bad and Bougie is better than Shook One's Part 2? Quiet Storm?
I think it could be.
How? Explain. No, explain your rationale.
Yeah. From a production standpoint, I think it could be for certain eras.
So you think Bad and Bougie is a better beat than Shook One's Part 2? Because you talking about singles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Shook One's Part 2 and Quiet Storm versus Bad and Bougie and Mask Off.
What else you got, though?
Explain yourself.
Would you like to go 20 deep?
You don't want to go 20 deep with Havoc with Metro.
You want to go 20 deep with Metro and Havoc?
I love Metro. You don't want to do that with Havoc.
I would love to do that.
I can do that with the first 2 albums and beat you. What are you talking about?
It's all Mobb Deep stuff, though. It's the versatility,
So what? RZA shit is all Wu-Tang shit. You got RZA higher than Metro. It's all Wu-Tang shit, ain't it?
No, it's not, though. It's Wu-Tang shit, and then it's the individuals in the group.
What part? What group? Individuals in what group?
But they're all different.
Are they part of the same group?
We've said this on the show before.
This list is trashy.
What's amazing about what RZA was able to do inside of Wu-Tang is the fact that he had Ghost and Ray in a certain chamber. He had Jizza in a certain chamber. He had Old Dirty and Meth in a whole different chamber. He had Bobby Digital in a different chamber. So yes, he was producing for the same group, but it was like 5 acts that were totally different from each other.
So in today's edition of According to Hip Hop, OJ didn't do it. Lil Mama got done wrong, and Metro's better than Havoc.
I got Metro over Havoc by 1 spot.
I don't give a damn.
I knew that was going to be man, we got to do a whole tournament with this. This would be great.
You don't want to do that.
All right, so I got Dilla at 11. And I got Hit Boy at 10. The album making came in.
Oh, the album making came in for Hit Boy, but not for Metro.
No. I mean, Metro just got a whole lot of individual songs, man.
Name them.
Come on, man. We'll be here all night.
No, Mask Off and Bad and Bougie, and after that, what, Mike? What classic songs has he produced?
That's it? You think
no,
that's
I'm
all
asking
that
you to
Metro
name
has?
them. I'm asking you to name them.
I want to get through this list.
Right.
We'll be here forever.
No, we won't, because you can't name his classic songs like that outside of Bad and Bougie and Mask Off. Nothing against Metro. Name them.
All right, I'll go through them.
You be asking the chat to name some fucking ludicrous rhymes. You name some Metro classic songs. Right.
That's way
right here
different.
today.
No,
it's the same thing.
So many, man.
And people think Luda got so many verses, and much like Vim, you sitting up here stalling.
Bars should actually stand out.
When we get done, beats should stand out too. When you get done, I want you to name 10 classic Metro songs.
I'll go through it.
10.
So we got Hit Boy.
It's wild.
Because what he just did in this Nas run is special. And then I got DJ Paul and Juicy J at 9. Then I got Pete Rock at 8. And I got the Neptunes at 7. They were higher than I thought.
With what?
Man, they had hits everywhere, and they made Hell Hath No Fury.
Oh, now you like Hell Hath No Fury. Yeah. Your list is all over the place. This is absurd. This is the wildest shit.
Got Molly Mall at 6.
This is the wildest shit, Mike.
I got Molly Mall at 6. And I got Q-Tip at 5. DJ Premier at 4. RZA at 3. Dr. Dre at 2. And Mr. Kanye West at the number 1 spot.
I would like to apologize to everybody that's watching According to Hip Hop right now for this list. We apologize for Mike D's takes.
No. Don't apologize for that.
First of all, before we get into my list, Metro songs, Mike. I'll let you pull them up if you want.
Hold on.
I'll look them up
Mall
for
7 with the super chat says Bink is a top 20 most underrated.
I thought about Bink.
Well, you know who I didn't mention and who I think is the most underrated? And I need to rework my list just based on this, the Larry Smith and Rick Rubin. Prince Paul, man. It's my guy.
You didn't put Prince Paul on this list?
I didn't. It's an oversight. But, I'm still working on the list.
Let's pull up these.
Some things are going to change, but, some of the stuff's not going to change.
Pulling up this Metro shit right now.
No, because I want to see, you know, where I'm at as far as like, you know, what parts I'm wrong with.
First of all, you're wrong at number 1.
Nah.
Okay, so what's Kanye's most impactful album? Because you just said on this show that impact is what puts it over the top when it comes to classic stuff.
Can I interest you in My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy?
Can I interest you in Straight Outta Compton? What's more impactful?
Okay, that one came out
and then
a
The Chronic.
years ago.
No, I'm not done. And then The Chronic. And then Doggy Style.
Okay.
And then 2001. He's got 4 albums more impactful than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. 4.
Does
1, 2, 3.
Does Mailman get any credit?
4.
Does Mailman get any credit?
Yes. The Glove gave him credit. And you know what else the
But I'm
Glove
just
said?
saying, you said 2001.
You know what the Glove said after we gave Mailman credit? Dr. Dre is still the greatest hip-hop producer who ever lived.
He's pretty great.
You said on this show that impact is what put classic albums over the top. Is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy more impactful than The Chronic, Doggy Style, or Straight Outta Compton? Because if it's not, then your argument is nil.
So
and Kanye's not number one. You're not about to put him at number 1.
So anybody who made something in the 80s is just going to automatically win anyway, because that stuff is going to be way more impactful than something that came out 20 years after.
Explain the impact of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
It actually ushered in the next generation of artists. That verse that Ross had on that album, that pushed Ross forward in that era. That pushed Nicki forward in that era. She was next up. Even when you talk about Kid Cudi being on there, even with Pusha T's solo career, it starts really with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
You mean kind of like Ice Cube career starts with Straight Outta Compton?
Yeah.
Kind of like how Snoop Dogg career. Kind of like how Snoop Dogg career start with The Chronic. Now, who's bigger, Snoop and Ice Cube, or the niggas that you just named?
I'm just talking about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Right.
I didn't even mention B. I didn't even mention The Blueprint.
The impact ain't there for you to say that. He didn't produce The Blueprint. He did 4 fucking records. Stop making it seem like...
He is The Blueprint.
No, he's not, real, Mike. Man. No, you need to be real and stop caping for this nigga. How many tracks did he produce on The Blueprint?
He did.
We're going by production.
Records.
We're going by production credits. He did the core records. Name them.
He did Heart of the City.
1.
Never Change.
2.
Takeover.
3.
He did Izzo.
4.
Yeah.
That's 4 records out of 13 songs.
Girls, Girls, Girls 2, we know that was probably the first one,
5
right?
out of 14. 5 out of 13,
and
14.
that whole album was centered around those records.
Stop giving him record credit for The Blueprint. He didn't produce The Blueprint.
For B? What about Daytona?
He did Daytona by himself.
College
That's
Dropout?
not fucking with Dre's shit.
All
those records. Name the record. Name the record that you named.
3-year period.
Name the record that's better than Straight Outta Compton, The Chronic, or Doggy Style that Ye has done.
So we're not gonna count those trash Eminem albums that Dr. Dre produced?
Name them.
What do you mean?
Name the albums better than Straight Outta Compton, Doggy Style, and The Chronic. You're wild.
Hold on. So we're only gonna acknowledge Dr. Dre's successes. We're not gonna acknowledge the fact that Dr. Dre couldn't put out a Rakim album. Wait a minute. Hold on. We're not going to acknowledge the fact that Dr. Dre couldn't put out a Rakim album, right? We're not going to acknowledge the fact that he couldn't do anything with Eve, right? Everybody that Kanye had his hands on.
Kanye can't do anything with Kanye. He ain't made nothing good since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. What about Nasir? What about the Ye album? What about Kid See Ghost? What about Donda?
Those are dope.
They're not fucking dope,
They're
Mike.
dope. At least they came out. At least the nigga makes music. At least he puts it out. He's not taking pictures in the studio and nothing comes out.
You're right. It's just when it comes out the last 10 years, it's fucking whack.
We're just going to sit there and give Dre credit for shit that happened 30 years ago, and he doesn't put out anything.
Because his legacy
But what about the Eminem record?
His legacy is more impactful, period, point blank.
He has executive
Mike,
produced
name
all
the
these
album
Eminem
better.
albums.
That's wild, Mike. Name the album better than The Chronic or Doggy Style that Ye has executive produced.
More.
Name the album, Mike. You just said on this show that impact is what puts it over the top when comparing classic projects.
Can he do it again?
That's not what you said, Mike. Stop adding on to shit. Answer my question.
What I'm saying
Who has
is,
more impact, Dr. Dre or Kanye?
I would say for each generation it's different. For our generation it's Dre. For a generation after us it could be Ye.
You wild, Mike.
It could. He's the biggest artist in the world.
He's got more classics than Ye. You talk about all this work that Ye's done, he's still got more classics than the nigga. How about that?
LP with the super chat says Kanye has more co-producers than Dre, Mike. Okay.
No more parties in LA. He didn't do that.
No.
Right. He got more writers and producers than Dre. And he doesn't have the classic album run or the more impactful albums. He doesn't have the classic albums or impactful albums.
How did the documentary start? How did Dr. Dre get up and say, you know what, we're going to put this Game album out?
How? He actually called on 50 to help finish the album. When
he heard Dreams Kanye had made dreams for the game. And the game said that, you know, when Dr. Dre heard that.
What the fuck does that have to do with
What
Straight
I'm
Outta
saying?
Compton, niggas for life,
Because
no one can do it better.
We're going to continuously
Doggy
go
style.
back to the 80s. What did Dre
Mike, this
do?
is according to hip-hop. We
Yeah.
go back into the 80s and
But
90s all the time.
I understand what you're saying. But if we're comparing it to somebody who's been working nonstop and continue to evolve versus somebody who stopped, I got Dre at number 2. Come on, man.
No, Kanye do not deserve no number one spot.
So number 2 is an insult?
It is a fucking insult. When this man has made more
doesn't
classic
make
and more impactful albums. That's the end of it.
The fact that Dr. Dre hasn't put out anything, Coop, and you're caping this hard? Like, what's the last Dre classic produced album?
What's the last Ye classic produced album?
I ask you first.
Produced? Get Rich or Die Trying.
Man,
or the documentary.
That celebrates 20
Okay,
years.
let's go down.
And the game said himself,
Mike, this is career
Dr. Dre
achievement.
never produced anything
this,
for him.
Mike, this isn't who did it most recently. This is who did it greatest. So let's go down Dr. Dre's catalog right quick, because you seem to have forgotten. Niggas for Life, Straight Outta Compton, No One Can Do It Better, The Chronic, Doggy Style, 2001, the documentary, Get Rich or Die Trying. That's 8 fucking classics, Mike.
Can we have
8.
Can we have a discussion without yelling?
Hell no, not when you put this nigga at number 1.
And this is one of my
He does not deserve to be number 1.
Talk?
It's wild, Mike.
Can I talk? This is one of my other justifications as well. As an all-around producer and arranger, I feel like Kanye's able to make a variety of great records, whereas Dr. Dre shit, his best shit is the gangster shit. And if you don't have anything outside of the gangster shit, we don't really want to hear that from Dre, right? It's very one-dimensional in that sense. I feel like I feel like Kanye can get you some street shit. He can get you some soulful shit. He could do Just to Get By. He could go out there and do Jesus Walks. He could actually go out there and do I'm Just Doing My Job for Tip. He can go take on an artist like a Common and actually get into that artist's vein. I think we were talking about this the other day, that he was able to take some of those, you know, the vein that Common and Dilla were creating and actually work around that. Whereas Dr. Dre, he has to take an artist. He's more of like a Coach K, right? You have to fit in the Dr. Dre system. We saw that on with Busta Rhymes on The Big Bang Theory. That album didn't sound like Busta. It sounded like Dre. Whereas Kanye's able to work with artists and get the best out of them and let them be able to be them, and he's more versatile with it. That's my argument.
That doesn't make it classic, Mike.
Because everything you're talking about, all those albums,
they're all classics.
They're great.
They're not great. They're classics.
They're classics. They're groundbreaking, but they're all in a similar vein. Whereas Kanye's vein and his musical palette is a lot more verse.
Mike, you yourself,
over a longer span of time.
You're lying. You yourself have talked about the difference between the Chronic and Doggy Style is that the Chronic actually has social commentary and rhetoric to it.
That's content.
And that they're not the same album.
Content, but from a production standpoint, they still hit on that same gangster vein. You know what Suge said on his podcast?
No, we're not bringing Suge into this. I'm not done.
No, I want to explain this.
This is wild.
Suge was like, you know, when Dre went off and did that Aftermath album or whatnot, you know, it was different. It was positive. He tried something different. He kind of even did that with Affirmative Action. Not Affirmative Action, but, you know, Nas Is Coming and stuff like that. And they were like, why didn't this work? Because niggas want to hear that gangster shit from Dre. And he does that great. He does that well. But somebody like Kanye does a little bit more than that. And that's all I'm saying. And that's why I gave him the nod more so on a skill set and diversity and versatile and being versatile over a time period.
You're not being consistent with what you said earlier this show. Earlier this show, you said if it's close, you go on impact when it comes to the classics. So how is Kanye?
I didn't.
Did he not say that?
No, I said no. When we were talking about albums, I said if it's close, I'm gonna go with the banger. That's different than we're talking about
Dre
a producer.
Too. It's impact and fucking album. How many classics has Kanye West produced, Mike?
Man, it's a lot.
Executive produced. No, not a lot. I want you to name them the same way I can name Dre's 8 classics off the top of my fucking head.
I understand what you're saying.
No, you don't. I want you to name it out so you can see the gap.
I hear what you're saying, but this is what I'm saying on top of the classic albums that Kanye produced. He actually went out there and produced individual classic songs for people he didn't make full albums with. The
like even Gwen Stefani, Let Me Blow Your Mind? You mean stuff like that?
That ain't no hip hop song. What are we talking about?
Eve not a hip.
I thought we were talking.
Hold on. Eve's record with Gwen Stefani is not a hip hop song.
I thought you were talking about the Gwen Stefani. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Rich
Let me
Girl.
blow your mind.
That song's not great. You know that.
That song is great, Mike.
That song was good for the time.
And that beat is great.
Are we serious, Coop?
Are you serious?
Coop,
you sitting up here caping for niggas that ain't made a classic album in 13 years.
I ain't never heard you mention no goddamn let me blow your mind on this show ever in 3 years.
Because you just said that Dr. Dre didn't have any versatility. As soon as I give you a record, you try to blow it off.
It's not that good of a record.
Neither is the shit Kanye been doing the last 13 years, but you're still putting him at number one.
Explain the Nas. You're telling me just to get by is not a great record?
Let me ask you something.
Just to get by is not a great record?
You said Nas is the greatest MC of all time, right? How'd that Kanye album, since Kanye is so good at working with artists, how come he couldn't make a great album with the greatest MC of all time in this era?
I'm going to be honest, Coop. A lot of great producers haven't been able to do that with Nas. That's why what Hit Boy's doing is so incredible.
Mike, that's kind of funny.
Because the Neptunes weren't able to really gel with Nas like that. Timbaland hadn't been able to gel with Nas like that. So you just named
two people.
And honestly, man, you know, that RZA record that was on the Lost Tapes too, I thought it was going to be better than it was.
It's the best record on there.
I thought it was going to be better than it was.
Mike, you making bullshit ass arguments. If Kanye is who you say he is, if Kanye is who we say he is, why couldn't he work with the GOAT and make a good album? It's literally might be one of Nas's 2 or 3
the album's not that bad.
Mike,
we did a whole podcast
where does Nasir rank?
Fact that it wasn't even that bad.
Where does Nasir rank in Nas's catalog?
It's lower because he has a great catalog.
Right.
But hold
on. So which part is it? I thought Nas had struggled with producers, and how does he have this great catalog if he struggles with producers? Doesn't struggle with Pete Rock, DJ Premier, LES.
They haven't made a full album with them.
And when he made a full album with Kanye, how did it go?
It was rushed, as you said, right?
By who?
By probably Kanye. The man made fucking
Why you not talking about the Ye album, Mike, from the 7-album run, that piece of trash? Why you not talking about Donda, Mike?
He made 5 albums in 5 weeks.
Nobody asked him to do that, Mike. Nobody asked him to do that.
You're critiquing,
and it's 35 songs.
Funny.
It's 35 songs.
Funny. You're critiquing
no, it's
that
funny
same
how you're trying to make
era.
it seem like Dre is some old nigga.
No, you're critiquing the same. It's funny. We were just talking about how great Daytona is, right? It's one of the best albums of its era, and you're critiquing an album that he made 2 weeks after Daytona. Clearly, everything was
okay.
right.
So if we're going for this era, he's won for what with making classic albums? How many classic albums has he made in this era?
How many classic albums has Dre made?
No.
Not available.
No. We not talking about Dre right now. We talking about Kanye. We talking about Kanye. Since you want to bring up how much he works and how well he works, how many classic albums has he made in this era? Because he's made a lot of albums, but he only walking around with one classic. So that clip he hitting that.
How many classics have even been made?
No.
In
That's
this
like
era?
Mike. That's like a guy who shoots 25% from the 3-point line, but he shoots more than the other guy, and you think he's a greater shooter. No. Just because you shoot more, don't make you greater. He's got one classic from this era, and that's Daytona. The last classic he made was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So that's 2 albums in the last 13 years that have been classics. So
and has Dre made anything in the last 13 years?
So when you're talking about his work ethic as if that's some sort of nod to him, that's actually a knock to him, because it's showing you that although he works at this clip, he's not capable of producing the classic results that Dr. Dre has. Because Dr. Dre produced 8 classic fucking albums from 1988 to 2005 when the documentary came out. So you tell me what the math is on that.
What did he produce on the documentary? Because the Game said he's never produced anything for him.
Who you believe, the Game or Dr. Dre?
The Game.
Okay, why? Based on what?
Based on he's the artist who knows who made a beat for him. Why would he lie about who made a beat for him? And
I believe Chris the Glove Taylor.
Rewind. Who do you believe, Tupac or Dre? Because Tupac said the same thing.
Mike.
These are consistent stories.
Mike, Dr. Dre doesn't have any production credits on All Eyes on Me outside of California Love. So it's not anything to believe. He didn't take any production credit.
California Love
and I didn't bring up All Eyes on Me at all in this conversation because he didn't make any beats for it outside of one.
What did he make on the documentary?
He did 5 tracks. First of all, he did How We Do, the first single. Dreams wasn't the first single, Mike. He did the first single. Right. If I'm not mistaken, West Side Story is his beat. Don't Worry with Mary is his beat. And I'd have to check for the other 2, but he did 5 joints. He also did In the Club for 50, the biggest song from the biggest album of its era.
Okay, so you're going to count that with the documentary, but not count the Blueprint for Kanye? Why?
Because Because executive produced by Dr. Dre. The blueprint doesn't say executive produced by Kanye West.
Okay, so
does it?
Okay.
Does it? Does it say
Okay.
executive produced by Kanye West? Yes
Okay,
or no?
okay. It doesn't. But
Right.
guess what? You're not counting all those Eminem albums that were executive produced by
And I'm
Dr.
not even
Dre.
bringing up
Does
Good
that
Kid,
not-
Mad
hold,
City.
hold, hold, don't interrupt that.
Because he executive produced Good Kid, Mad City.
What
too.
about all those Eminem albums that he executive produced that were trash? Are we not going to count that to bring the grade down?
Just like we should bring Kanye's grade now for all those whack ass albums he's made in this era. I told you he's made
All
two classics.
I'll tell you this.
You just said he made 5 albums in 5 weeks. How many of them were great?
And they're all
One.
better than those
One
Eminem
for 5,
albums.
20%.
They're all better than those Eminem albums.
Mike, everybody knows how you feel about Eminem, so
Those
you
albums
can't
ain't
be
great.
trusted to say that.
Those
you can't
albums
be trusted
ain't
to
great.
say that.
Anything
That's
after,
not hold on, Mike.
Anything after the Eminem show is not great. You know that.
Hold on, Mike. And notice when I brought up his 8 classics, I didn't bring up the Eminem show or the Marshall Mathers LP or Good Kid,
Okay,
Mad City.
go for the 8 again. Are we hold? Let's rewind. Is it executive producing or is it producing the whole album? Because I'm getting confused.
Executive producing.
Okay,
is
so you're
producing the
counting
whole
everything
album.
that's
Yes.
executive produced.
Yes.
So
Straight out of Compton.
So he didn't have to produce
I'm gonna
the
run
whole
it down.
album.
I'm going to run it down for you
Okay.
again. Straight out of Compton.
He produced the
Niggas
whole
for
thing.
life.
He produced the
No
whole
one
thing.
can do it better. The Chronic. Doggy Style.
Okay.
Get Rich or Die Trying. The documentary.
Well, he didn't produce everything on there.
He did
didn't
5
produce
beats on there, and
everything
he's the executive producer of Get Rich or Die
Okay,
Trying
he
too. And
didn't
even
produce
50 will tell you,
everything.
Dre helped me put that album together.
Okay, he didn't.
That's 7 right there. He's already got Kanye beat. That's without me bringing up the Marshall Mathers LP, the Eminem show, or Good Kid, Mad City, which he is executive producer of all of those albums. You need to stop.
I guess I'm
and
confused.
2001, Mike. I just named 11 albums, Mike. Kanye don't have 11 great albums. Even if you don't think all those albums are classic, you can't name me 11 great albums that Kanye West executive produced.
Andre Shashir with the super chat says, where would y'all put Nasheem Myrick on this list? He has some shit. I love Nasheem Myrick. OJ Winston with the super chat says, Mike, where would you rank? Oh, yeah. Did you got Nasheem Myrick?
He's actually the reason that I did a group list, because I realized that singling him out from Bad Boys Hitmen would be wrong, but he is clearly the best producer out of Bad Boys Hitmen, because he did Who Shot Ya, T.O.N.Y. Yeah.
OJ Winston with the super chat says, Mike, where would Lil Jon rank?
I thought about Lil Jon too. You're wild for this Kanye shit. I don't believe you came on this show.
No, I'm
you
serious.
tried to put Kanye at number 1.
I mean, because he
Dr.
actually
Dre.
is going to put out an album, man. You know, I'm going to be honest, man. I felt the way about the fact that Dr. Dre, the greatest producer of all time in my eyes at that moment, had the greatest MC of all time in Rockin and couldn't put out anything.
Right.
Now, I honestly,
I'd rather hear nothing
do
than
we
hear that
know?
Nasir album.
Well, at least the niggas put something out, man. No, I'd rather hear the Nasir album than hear nothing. I would.
Keep telling yourself
At
that,
the end of the day, I know if Rakim would have actually, you know, signed to Kanye or connected with Kanye, he would actually came out with something. And we also know that when people like Pusha T end up with Kanye, you do get a Daytona. When people like Common, who've worked before Kanye, come together with Kanye, you get a B. You get a Finding Forever. It happens.
Mike.
When has Dr. Dre ever done that, Coop?
No, see,
everything is a debut.
You keep trying to break up your argument, and I'm just asking you. No. Let me run it down for you again. It's called Straight Outta Compton, Niggas for Life, No One Can Do It Better, The Chronic, Doggy Style, 2001, Marshall Mathers LP, Eminem Show, Get Rich or Die Trying, the documentary, Good Kid, Mad City. Now name the 11 Ye albums, Mike.
Are we executive producing now, or are we talking about if you
you
the
talking
whole
about
album?
you talking about agility. So hold on, don't you think it's agile when a guy can not only make beats but put the beats together from other people to make somebody's album? Is that not showing a level of agility? Like the documentary and Get Rich or Die Trying? Because I'm gonna tell you something. That's something Kanye can't do.
Really?
Where has he done it?
He did it pretty well on B.
He took 2 Dilla beats, Mike. It's not that hard.
Well, no, Dilla was actually alive still.
He took 2 Dilla beats. It's not that hard.
That's not hard.
No.
He's done it with Big
Style-wise,
Sean's career.
style-wise.
And you know what else he also did?
Mike.
You know what his name was on?
You're not answering my question.
No,
though.
I am
Is executive
answering you.
production not a form of agility as a producer?
It is. And
Dr.
I
Dre
think
has
that
executive produced 11 great albums. Name the Kanye albums,
I mean, when
Mike.
you got everybody doing the work, I mean, it is what it is.
This nigga wild. LP just told you Kanye got more writers and co-producers than Dr. Dre. So when you talk about everybody,
talking shit.
you want to pull up the credits, Mike? Go pull up the credits. He's not lying.
Who else did work on Daytona?
Mike, John Bryan.
Who else did
hold on, Mike.
work on
John
Daytona?
Bryan co-produced the entire Late Registration with Kanye.
Yeah, and so did Mailman co-produced the whole 2001, and you're giving Dre credit for that.
No, but
we got to be consistent here.
Right, but here's the reality of the matter, and here's the difference. Executive produce. Dr. Dre can take a 50 project or a Game project or a Kendrick Lamar project where he doesn't be the producer on it at all and be the executive producer of it and put it together. Now show me where Kanye can do that.
Do you really feel like he put those together? Because all of those artists you named, them artists was already making projects before they got with Dre anyway.
That's why 50's mixtape stuff is at the end to Get Rich or Die Trying.
Exactly. A lot of those records were already made, bro.
It says executive produced by Dr. Dre. How many?
And you know what?
I just named you 11 albums. 11 albums.
All Eyes on Me says that too.
But I didn't count that in this one.
But why not?
Because he only did
his
one
name's
beat.
on there.
Because he only did one beat.
He executive produced it, right?
No. Everybody knows that he did.
His name's on there.
Everybody knows that he didn't, Mike.
But so how do we know that he did the other ones and he didn't do that?
Because the artists have said so, except for Game.
Game said, yeah.
Okay, so Mike, let's keep it real. The documentary of all the projects that he's executive produced might be the weakest one. So let's take the 11 down to 10. Still got that ass beat.
I mean, what I'm not understanding, Coop.
I'm not understanding why you're not naming Kanye's classic albums.
No, I'm about to catch you up. I'm not understanding why you're not counting All Eyes on Me. Dr. Dre executive produced
Name
that
Kanye's
too?
classic albums for me, Mike. I've asked you like 10 times on this show. Mike, I've asked you like 10 times on this show to name Kanye's classic albums. We all know what Kanye's
classic
albums. No, we don't, Mike. I'd like to hear you name them out so you can understand how absurd you are.
I'm confused. Are we talking about executive produced albums, or are we talking about produced from
both? Just like we are with Dr. Dre. Go ahead, go.
College Dropout.
1.
Graduation.
2.
Late Registration.
3.
B.
4.
Daytona.
5.
Then we got My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
6. Your Arm's Too Short to Box with Dr. Dre. That's not now you want to call it a classic, Mike?
It is a classic.
It's not, Mike. You just said there's some bangers on here. You know it's not a classic. Stop playing. You want to compare 808s to this shit, that Dr. Dre shit I just named? You're making my point for me. You're talking about a guy with 6 classes versus a guy walking around with about 10.
But does
where they do that at, Mike?
But Dr. Dre doesn't have like any individual bangers that he's given for other people. You're out here naming Blow Your Mind from Eve.
Mike,
that's where you're going?
Mike, he doesn't have to because his albums are the bangers.
So if you got no. If
Dre brings people to his party, not the other way around.
But see again, that's why I got Ye over him because Kanye could do both. He can actually bring you to his party. He can come to your party.
Mike,
Dr. Dre makes you
He's only done it on being Daytona,
No.
He's only done it on being Daytona.
He did it on the Blueprint.
He did 4 records on the Blueprint. He didn't executive produce it.
Oh, so now we're talking about executive production.
Mike, we've been talking about executive production. Does that not matter?
What I'm talking about.
Does it not matter?
Listen to what I'm talking about. Dr. Dre doesn't have individual records that he's putting on other people's projects. He doesn't have what Premier has in that light. Kanye does the best of both. He actually makes the albums for himself and for others, and he gives you individual joints.
Mike, he's not fucking with Dre's songs. He's not fucking with Dre's albums. I don't care how
agile the nigga is.
The fact
that you had to go to Eve's Blow Your Mind.
No, you asked for an example.
Story.
No, the story is
he doesn't have any singles that he's done for anybody else.
You need to stop.
Where's his album joints for other people's shit?
Hold on. Where's Kanye's top 10 hip-hop records? Where's Kanye's top 10 hip-hop albums?
Let me get to these soup chats.
Right. Now
because you're not going to accept anything that I'm saying.
Name the top 10 rap album that Kanye West has produced, because Dr. Dre got 2 of them motherfuckers. Name the top 10.
Dark Twisted Fantasy. Mall 7 with the super chat
Where's
says,
nothing but a G
I don't
thing
think
at?
Kanye is number 1. I'd have to say it's either Dre, RZA, or Primo. I can't choose. Let's see. LP with the super chat says, it's more impressive to drop a classic with new artists than it is existing ones. Half the battle is already done. Ye don't need to coach the rapper. I disagree with that. I think I think that's the whole difference between a college basketball coach and a pro coach. When you have somebody who has to basically deal with that artist's ego, have to deal with that artist's habits, that's different than having to get a whole new artist and a blank canvas where you can mold that individual into what you want them to be. Many people have even said this. Prince Paul was one of the people who said this as well. He's like, when he was a Stetsasonic, he had to kind of go into the mold of everything else. He wanted his own group that he could actually mold. De La Soul. Organized Noise said the same thing. When they had PA, they already wanted to do what they wanted to do, but they wanted their own version of PA that they could mold. Here comes Outkast. It's more difficult to actually get an established act and make classics for it.
That's
or
an
for
opinion,
them.
and that's conjecture.
Oh, no. That is an opinion, and I'm giving my reason for the opinion. But we also know that when Dr. Dre got the greatest MC of all time, nothing came out of it.
Nas is the greatest MC of all time.
Well, yeah. Rakim, Nas. Yeah, I got you.
No, we're not splitting hairs
and honestly,
we're not splitting hairs.
Oh, no. Honestly, when he got Nas, he had one of the weaker tracks on there. Actually, when he got Nas, you got the Firm album.
Executive Decision is actually a Dr. Dre beat, and that's actually one of the stronger tracks on there.
I was talking more so about Nas's Coming On It Was Written.
It's still on a classic album.
It's one of the weaker songs on there.
Still a
Brandon Dominique with the super chat says he got out. You look, Dr. Dre got outproduced on It Was Written by everybody on there.
It happens. Kanye's been outproduced on albums before.
When?
Who did You Don't Know on The Blueprint?
Oh, come on, man.
Oh, come on, man. What's your favorite J record?
Hold on.
Mike, pause. What's your favorite J record?
Hold on, time.
What's your favorite J record? Don't time out. Answer my question.
It's you don't know. But you're changing the whole argument, Coop. We're talking about every song on the fucking album being better than Dr. Dre's produced song It Was Written versus Jay-Z's best song being better than come on, man.
Mike, you
Heart
need
of
to
the
come
City.
on.
Heart of the City is the second best song on the Blueprint.
First of all, you need to stop yelling at me and you need to come down and listen to what I have to say.
You've been yelling the whole time.
Because you're saying some of the wildest shit ever.
You started the yelling,
Mike,
Coop. I'm not going to just sit here and let you yell.
You've been sitting up here running around talking about how Kanye gave the Blueprint.
Yeah.
The best record on there he didn't even fucking produce. Stop that.
The second best record he did.
Stop. First of all, Heart of the City is not the second best record on there.
It's not. What's better than Heart of the City?
I think Never Change is probably better than Heart of the City.
Well, he produced that too.
Yeah, but he didn't produce the best record on there. So when you're talking about Kanye not being outproduced, it's like, yes, he did. He got outproduced on that album.
You think he collectively got outproduced on that album?
Mike, it's comparable. I mean, Izzo,
I
Mike?
don't think so.
Izzo, Mike?
Izzo was the first single. You want to talk about first singles?
Didn't hold up well, and you know it. Lyrical Exercise? No, them beats is better. Bink did some better tracks on there too.
No,
it's okay.
So now you're telling me Bink did better tracks.
Them records on the Blueprint ain't like that, Mike, from Ye. I'm sorry. Girls Part 2 might be the best one, and that was some bonus shit, Mike.
Heart of the City ain't like that?
Heart of the City is like that.
Yeah,
it's not better than You Don't Know, though. No, you were
Heart of the City is the second best song.
You were just sitting up here talking about how Dr. Dre got outproduced on the album, but when it happens to Kanye, you want to sit up there and make excuses.
No, cool. Dr. Dre got outproduced by everybody on It Was Written. It's different.
First of all, there's only two niggas on It Was Written. It's Trackmasters and it's Havoc, and then it's Dr. Dre. That's literally it. I think LES did Suspect.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the Suspect beat is necessarily a better beat than Nas Is Coming.
I think that Nas Is Coming is probably the weakest beat on the album.
I don't agree. Watch them niggas is the weakest beat.
Brandon Dominique with the super chat says, Dre's sound can be seen as regional. I got Ye. There you go.
Okay. Mike, how many top 10 rap albums all time has Kanye West produced?
Oh my God, what's your list?
I want you to answer that question. You see how you don't want to answer any of my questions,
Because
you act like that's not part of the conversation.
You're going to say
is that not part
those aren't top 10 albums. I mean,
Mike,
I got
you. Honestly
now,
believe?
Granted, this is what I will say, and I'm going to be fair and balanced.
Does he have anything fucking with the Chronic or Doggy Style? Yes or no?
Here.
Yes or no?
I'm going to be fair and balanced here. I want to speak in full sentences. Dr. Dre has the Chronic and Doggy Style over every Kanye West produced album. But I think in the totality, when we're talking about album making ability as a producer, the versatility of working with different acts that's not in your camp, acts that are established, acts that are new, and also when we're talking about spot production, he circles all those boxes in ways that Dr. Dre just doesn't, I don't think.
Mike,
that's just my opinion.
Who's the greatest basketball player of all time?
I think it's Michael Jordan.
Is LeBron James a more all-around better player than Michael Jordan when it comes to doing all the things on the basketball court?
He is.
Then why don't you have him at number one the way you have Kanye at number one? Because it's the same argument you're making.
And you know what? I've said this on this show before. If somebody made the case that LeBron's better than Michael Jordan, I would say.
But you see how shaky your argument seems?
No, it's not shaky.
Let me finish.
I would agree with that.
If
somebody wanted to break down the longevity of LeBron James, the fact that he's the all-time scoring leader in the league, the fact that he's been doing this at a high level on the NBA level since he was 18 years old, to say that he's better than Michael Jordan, I couldn't disagree with any of that.
But you still have him at number two, don't you? Because even for all that all-around agility that you're talking about, you know who the fucking man is. And so I don't know why.
That's a little different.
No, it's not.
Dr. Dre's not Michael Jordan. No. Because you know what? Because this is the way I feel about it. No, this is the way I feel about it, and I've said this on this show too. If we had two teams that were equal talent, one of those teams had LeBron, other team had Jordan, give me the Jordan team, right? In a 7-game series.
Same thing
but
over
if we're
here.
talking about going in the studio, and I got Kanye in this studio and Dr. Dre in this studio on a solo tip, Kanye's going to come out with the album.
How do you know, Mike?
Because he comes out with albums.
But are the albums better when they come out, Mike? It's not about
Dre shit doesn't come out.
Mike, it's not about Mike, it's not about when it does or doesn't come out. It's about what has come out. And what Dr. Dre has done is produce at a higher level. Do you understand if you were naming the 100 greatest rap albums of all time, he would literally account for 10% of them, not Kanye West. And that's really the end of the discussion at the end of the day, because we've talked about on this show when it comes to Emcees and almost everything we do, it comes down to album making and impact. And when it comes down to album making and impact, Kanye West is not fucking seeing Dr. Dre.
Impact, obviously, because Dre is a pioneer. Dre's been here
It has nothing to do with it.
No, it does.
The impact happens because there have been genre-changing albums.
Of course.
Like Straight Outta Compton is way more impactful than Daytona or B is ever going to pray to be. And it's just no changing that, Mike.
Well, honestly, when we talk
about
when we talk about the impact,
you're trying to take Dre's impact away because he's old. No, you've been calling it old and dated on here.
No. I'm not doing
when it comes out, it doesn't matter if he doesn't. It doesn't matter.
Number two's not bad,
Mike. It doesn't matter if he doesn't make another fucking album. Kanye still ain't caught up yet. It doesn't matter how long it's been.
I disagree.
All that versatility don't mean shit at the end of the day. Is the album a classic? Yes or no?
I think that Kanye is the better producer of the two.
Of what? Of rap albums?
Yes.
Then name the rap albums, because you had 6, I named 11.
Like I said.
6 to 11. It's not even a conversation.
You name me the actual singles from other people's projects, because Dr. Dre never had to do that.
But Mike, you've always said tiebreaker goes to album and impact, so that would lean
but
itself to Dr. Dre.
But Dr. Dre doesn't have the singles. He doesn't. He doesn't have the production work on other people's efforts. He doesn't.
But Mike, you said the tiebreaker goes to albums and impact. Who has that? That would be Dr. Dre.
I think
so that's where your argument is flawed. Based on your criteria and critique this whole time we've been doing this show, Mike, you're wrong.
But it's not a tie.
Now you're pulling up.
That part's not a tie.
You're right.
That part's not a tie.
Okay, so
Dre doesn't work with other people.
So Mike,
everything
let's
is
look at it like
with
this.
him.
What does Kanye do better than Dre? He makes better singles for other artists. Is that what you said?
Oh, Leroy Green with the super chat says, Mike, when Detox drop, you're going to see that he's better than Ye. He's right. He's right.
Stop that. Stop
I'll be waiting.
Stop that. Stop that.
November 38th.
Mike, so Kanye makes better singles for other artists, right?
I mean, songs on other artists' projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What else does he do better than Dr. Dre, other than that?
What else does he do better than Dr. Dre?
Yeah, because Dr. Dre has him on impact and classic albums, and actually on singles from their albums respectively. Because I still ain't seen Kanye with a Nothing But a G thing as great as Jesus Walks is.
I mean, I see what you're saying, Coop.
No, you don't.
But no. The thing is, man, you're dwelling on a certain era, man. Like,
Mike, it doesn't
matter. The thing with production, man, this ain't like rhyming and, you know what I'm saying, being an artist. Like, you never get too old to produce. Quincy produced Thriller at 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so are we going to forever just have Dr. Dre at number 1 because of Straight Outta Compton, Niggas for Life, No One Could Do It Better, The Chronic and Doggy Style?
Until somebody comes along and does better. Yes, Mike.
But
it's not about
Coop, we've had
you have
this
to come along and do better.
Coop, we've had this discussion earlier in this show.
LeBron's not ahead of Mike because guess what? He hasn't come along and done better.
But to a certain generation, he has. And again, it's about what era you came up in.
These niggas don't
and
know
to
shit,
me,
though.
I mean, for you, Havoc's gonna always be over Metro.
No,
but for people who
came
came up on
classic
Metro,
albums, we can have a conversation. As soon as Metro makes 2 classic albums, we can have a conversation.
Esquire with the super chat says, Mike's list has flaws for sure, but all things considered, I'm with Mike on Ye versus Dre comparison. It's debatable. Let's hear your list, Coop.
It's not. It's not debatable. It's 11 classics to 6.
LP with the super chat says, no one could do it better. Niggas for Life, Chronic, Doggy Style. Better than any of Ye's run, in my opinion. Ye got versatility, but not the impact. That's artistically and commercially. What's your list? Let's get your list going.
Muggs at 25. Daz at 24. I took Mr. DJ because I don't think Big Boy and Dre made them beats like that.
I had Mr. DJ on my short list, and I had Daz.
Got Just Blaze at 22. Timbaland at 21. Manny Fresh at 20. Rick Rubin at 19. About to surprise you with one. Pimp C at 18. People forget Pimp did the Underground King stuff from a production side. I got Metro at 17. Eric Sermon at 16. Prince Paul at 15. Dilla at 14. Pete Rock at 13. Madlib at 12. Large Professor at 11. Hit Boy at 10. DJ Quick at 9. Alchemist at 8. Havoc at 7. Q-Tip at 6. Kanye at 5, where he belongs. Marley Marl at 4. Preem at 3. RZA at 2. And Dre at 1, where he belongs. I have Kanye appropriately ranked.
Is there anybody in the new era that's on the list?
Mike, I just said Metro.
Okay. I mean, where's Metro?
17. Hit Boy, 10.
Mm-hmm.
You could say Alchemist is both eras. He's 8.
Is Alchemist both eras?
Yeah. Did he not?
He's doing a lot of work.
Did he
now.
not do Alfredo in 2020? Did he not do Price of Tea of China in 2020? He would be this era. Madlib is still in this era too. He did Bandana and Pinata for Freddie.
I think Madlib and Alchemist are more. Yeah. I would say that
Kanye's not this era. If that's the case, right? You forgetting how old Kanye is. When did the College Dropout come out, Mike?
Oh, that was like 20 years ago.
Okay, so he's not this era either. So if Kanye's part of this era, so is Madlib and Alchemist. You don't get to split your hairs.
What do you mean? Nah, I don't think they're part of this era.
Who? They more part of this era. They're more part of this era than Kanye is, especially in terms of quality.
I think Alchemist is extremely active, but I wouldn't say that he belongs to this era. I guess I'm thinking more so, the younger producers that weren't around in the 2000s.
Metro, Hit Boy.
Yeah.
17 and 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Esquire with the super chat says, of those 11 albums, Dre produced 5 of them in full. Yeah. Leroy Green with the super chat says, Coop, respectfully, love Dre, but Ye is slightly better. A lot of those beats Dre get credit for, he didn't do. And if he and Ye are given a sample, Ye wins.
First of all, you can make a beat without sampling. Like to point that out to everybody. It's possible to make a beat without sampling.
Does Dre do that?
And second of all, y'all keep acting like Kanye made all these beats by himself. Go read the production. Read the production credits, because one thing Ye is actually good about is giving people credit. Right, and so you understand that most of the shit that you're talking about has help. I just told you. You name one of his classics, it literally got entirely co-produced by a guy. What are you gonna say to Ye? You talk about Dre. You talking about Dre having help, but you don't act like Kanye's had help. LP tried to tell you Kanye's actually had more help than Dre by the credit and by the fact, Mike.
Really?
Yes. It's a fact.
Because what about those Daz records that we all know that Daz produced?
And and
I'm just gonna be real. Snoop has said this himself. He said Daz made the beats on Doggy Style, but Dre produced it. So from a hip hop standpoint,
executive production?
No. From a hip hop standpoint,
executive production.
From a hip hop standpoint, Kanye's never had that kind of help.
That's not
just saying.
So what you're talking about is a beat maker. I'm talking about a producer. You want to have a beat maker conversation? Then Dilla's at the top of this list.
Kanye does all the things. Kanye's a producer and a beat maker.
Let's not act like Dr. Dre can't make beats.
What's the last beat he made?
When the last beat Ye made that was hot like that?
Shit, the one that Freddie Gibbs is on.
According to you, wasn't nobody in here knocking their head to that shit except for you.
People was loving this shit.
Who?
People in the chat. What y'all think about
They
the
said Freddie got verse of the year. They didn't say that song was like that.
That song is hard.
No, it's not.
Actually, man, the Praise God beat hard. T Nitty with the super chat says,
I'm talking about Dr. Dre and you got Praise God.
Well, I mean, Dr. Dre doesn't make anything.
He doesn't have to.
What's the last beat he made?
He doesn't. Listen to what I'm saying.
You're not
very
going to
carefully.
answer that question.
No. Listen to me very carefully. He doesn't have to. He's made 10% of the 100 best albums we've ever heard. It says executive produced by Dr. Dre. And that's not counting the All Eyes on Me shit that I didn't even include in this conversation. Stop acting like this man can't make a beat when you heard them interviews by Chris the Glove. Stop acting like he's a beat maker, a producer, and an executive producer, and he does all of those things at a higher or comparable level than Kanye,
Cool.
And he has more impact.
I have him at number 2.
I don't give a
Why
damn.
would I even say that he can't make beats? I have him at number 2. And you're acting like number 2 is such an insult.
It is. It's an insult when you want to put Kanye ahead of Dr. Dre.
The reason why he's at number 2 is the fact that we all know that other people made a lot of those beats. Some of those things are unclear. And we know that he's in the studio all the time and nothing comes out. And we also know that when established artists come around him, we get nothing. We've never even gotten a follow-up to him and what him and Snoop can do, actually.
Hey, Mike, what
T-Nitty with the super chat
tilted the scale in your Jay and Nas argument? When you say Nas is clearly the greatest MC of all time. What was it?
It's two things.
It was the album making. Okay.
Yeah, it was the album making.
So Dre don't get that nod over Kanye, though?
No, because
you could say Jay is still more versatile than Nas.
I don't know if I can say that now.
Based on what?
Based on how versatile Nas has proven to be at this stage in his career.
Do Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg sound anything alike to you? Do 50 Cent and The Game sound anything alike to you?
Time out.
Does Eminem sound like any of these guys?
Time out.
No, you talking about the artists?
Time out. I'm about to break all of that down for you. First of all, he didn't really produce much for Ice Cube. We're talking about Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton is a Bomb Squad ripoff production-wise. Let's just be perfectly honest.
Now we're talking about ripoffs.
No.
Kanye is a Q-Tip and Dilla ripoff then.
No. I want to finish. So him producing for
Q-Tip Dilla ripoff.
For him producing for Ice Cube actually didn't happen.
Q-Tip.
Now, Snoop Dogg,
Mike, he did the beats for Straight Outta Compton. Ice Cube is rapping over those beats. What are you talking about? He didn't really produce for Ice Cube. That sounds fucking crazy.
Those are Bomb Squad jacks. That's why when Ice Cube...
And Kanye shit is a Q-Tip and Dilla jack.
And that's why when Ice Cube left NWA, where did he go?
And Kanye,
to the Bomb Squad,
and Kanye
right?
shit not a Q-Tip and Dilla jack then.
Nah. How he had his own flavor.
Mike, you just said on the last show that he's off the Dilla and Q-Tip tree.
That's not a ripoff.
How not?
Listen, Straight Outta Compton is a straight up Bomb Squad ripoff production wise. It is.
Mike, you sound wild.
It's true.
If Dre is ripping off Bomb Squad, how come Kanye ain't ripping off Q-Tip and Dilla then? Explain the difference to me.
That's inspiration.
Oh, it's inspiration.
As opposed to as opposed to taking the production style from an album that came out the same year. It is what it is.
Mike, you said yourself about B that you didn't even know Dilla did those beats because Kanye shit sounds so much like Dilla.
No,
but you sitting up here trying to call it inspiration.
It was one
you
song.
Trying to call it inspiration,
one
Mike,
song.
You full of shit.
He was
Mike.
able to have his own sound in it. When you have Niggas for Life, not Niggas for Life, that album was a lot more original than Straight Outta Compton. Q wasn't on that. Straight Outta Compton, those drum loops, straight off of the Funky Drummer. Everything that
Kanye's sample game ain't straight from Q-Tip.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Is Kanye's sample game straight from Q-Tip?
Time out. You're not letting me finish.
You talking about some inspiration, Coop. Mike? You lying?
Coop. You're not letting me finish. He's using the same exact loops that Bomb Squad was using on It Takes a Nation for Straight Outta Compton. That's just fact. So he didn't what I'm going to say is, let me just go step by step. So let me finish real quick, and I'm going to let you rebuttal, right? When it comes to the Ice Cube thing, that was more of a Bomb Squad thing. That's why Ice Cube went straight to Bomb Squad after he left MWA,
You're trying to take
right?
credit away
Production,
from Dr. Dre right now. You are
wild, I'm not.
Mike. Yes,
I'm just we're splitting hairs, just like we do with everything else. I ain't taking no credit away from him. He's still number 2. But when it comes to Snoop, we all know that Daz and Chris the Glove said this too in your interview. When they were on the Chronic tour, Daz had a studio in there that he was utilizing. And him and Snoop were in there making Doggy Style, right?
Correct.
So, when it comes to producing, so when we're talking about producing Snoop, he has some help with Daz on that, right? And when it comes to Eminem makes a lot of his own beats. He does. And that's just factual. It's documented.
Mike, let me ask you something.
So when you're speaking to the versatility, Mike, there's a lot of factors in there.
You get on this show and you talk about Thriller all the time. Quincy Jones didn't make all the beats on Thriller.
He didn't.
He didn't make damn near any beat on Thriller.
That's why I call Rod Temperton what I do.
He was what on Thriller, though?
He was the producer. He brought it all together.
The executive producer of Thriller, right? Mm-hmm. So let's stop acting like executive production doesn't matter the way that you talk about Michael Jackson.
I never said that.
Kanye is not in Dr. Dre's lead as an executive producer. You're talking about Kanye as a beat maker versus Dr. Dre, the beat maker. I'm talking about the overall encompassing producer, and that is Dr. Dre, because you don't have any evidence that supports that Kanye West knows how to executive produce a classic album like Dr. Dre does, because the count is 11-6.
If you have 6 executive produced albums that are classic, I think that's a pretty good.
I said comparable, not when it's not Mike. Having 6 is great against anybody else, except for when the other guy you're up against has almost double.
Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. So you think that Dr. Dre's strength is in executive producing more so than just
he's the Quincy Jones of rap.
Of course, we've said that on the show many of times.
Yes.
But when it comes to actually beat making and producing for things that you're not executive producing projects for, or not executive producing on, excuse me, how strong is he in comparison to this person?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Since you want to split hairs, I believe, and this is from Chris the Glove, he did almost all the beats on The Chronic, which is a top 10 rap album. So when he's at his best is still better than Kanye's best, because for whatever you want to say about a Bomb Squad ripoff, which, by the way, is a wild, disrespectful take.
It's true.
It's a wild, disrespectful take.
That.
It's a wild, disrespectful
take. That's why I hold Niggas for Life so high.
Hold on,
because
Mike.
he found his own on that one.
Mike, Niggas for Life is a classic. He did the beats on there. No one
Incredible.
can do it better as a classic. He did all the beats on there. But, Mike, then there's The Chronic, which Kanye doesn't have an album sniffing that in terms of the production. Beat-wise, nothing but a G thing, ring a bell, Mike. Let Me Ride, ring a bell. Or executive production-wise, he still doesn't have anything touching The Chronic. So when you're talking about this whole beat-making thing,
I think
it's
you
like,
misunderstood my question.
No. I understand your question.
Because I'm talking
he still
about
has The Chronic.
I'm
making
talking
a beat.
about what he has done on projects that he does. His name is not on executive.
And
producing.
that's fine. And I'll give him that one thing. Everything else, Dr. Dre. That's why I keep trying to tell you. Yes, he even has bigger hit records still. Like, Mike, you want to go beat battle with Dr. Dre? Because I can leave out.
I would love to.
I can pick literally the beats that Dre did and still beat your ass with Kanye, because you don't have no nothing but a G thing over there. You don't have no album like The Chronic that you did almost all the beats to.
We need to do this first.
Wow.
We need to do this.
You need to, first of all, you need to take this Tupac L, then you need to take this Dr. Dre L. West.
Do y'all really want to see the Tupac and Big, or do y'all want to see the Dre and Kanye? Because I'm ready to do this Dre and Kanye.
You don't want to do it, Mike.
I really do.
No, you don't.
Because all your shit's going to be one-dimensional gangster shit.
It's still gonna be better than your shit, though, Mike.
How about this,
Mike? Mike, who's the all-time leading scorer before LeBron?
Kareem.
He got most of them points with one shot. Nobody said a problem with him being the all-time leading scorer. It don't matter about how you score. It matters that you score. Stop trying to do this little style point thing.
Would you say that Kareem's the greatest overall scorer ever, though? Because you say it all the time when you talk about Kevin Durant's scoring ability. It's about his versatility in scoring, right?
But guess what? I don't have Kevin Durant higher than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
As a scorer, you don't?
He's a better scorer overall. I don't have him as a better player overall, though. You're talking about Kanye's versatility.
I have him as a better producer overall.
He's not, though. The only thing that he does better is work on other artists' projects. That doesn't make him better. That makes him more versatile. There's a difference between being more versatile and being better. Dre may do what he do, but much like the Skyhook, you can't stop that shit.
We got to move on. This is great, though. T-Nitty with the super chat says, Mike, you forgot Watch the Throne and Find It Forever. I know. It's so much.
That's not classic.
And I'm going to,
I named classic albums. Not good albums. I named classic albums.
Oh, I got a breakdown for you, Coop, man. I can't wait till next week's show. I'm going to bring all the notes.
Oh, you're going to need more notes.
No.
I want you to line up all of your Kanye shit.
Yeah, we're going to line up everything.
All my Dr. Dre
We're going to
shit,
line up everything.
And we're going to see who has the more classic songs, classic albums, and who's the better beat maker. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, no, Dr. Dre is a beat maker for an album. Dre still has The Chronic, Mike. Kanye don't have one fucking beat tape better than that on any of these albums you're talking about, and you know it.
So who? Huh? Top 10 in every category.
Want to run it down? You don't want to do it, Mike. You're going to look bad.
LP with the super chat says, John Bryan did more on LT than Daz did on Doggy Style.
He did. It's true.
LT means late registration, right?
Yeah. The T and the R next to each other.
I mean, listen, man. Are we really going to hang on to this John Bryan thing forever? Because honestly, I remember when John Bryan was brought into the fold, Kanye made a big deal about it. The fact that, you know what? I want to get a producer that's going to be able to help this album be better. And that's cool. Like, we never say anything. No. We never say anything when we talk about 2001 being produced by Dr. Dre and Mailman. No one ever goes out there, and I'm not talking about you because I know we've done extensive conversations about this, but no one sits there and gives Mailman fucking credit for next episode. And they should. If we're being honest, because 2001, as great of an album as it is, probably one of the best, if not the best produced album I've heard in that era, especially in that time period, we credit all of it to Dre. We do. But when it comes to Kanye, I guess because people don't really fuck with Ye like that. Oh, John Bryan did this and that. Yeah, like when nigga Daz did this and that. Warren G did this and that. Fucking Quick did this and that. Come on, man. Like, let's be consistent with it is all I'm saying.
We are being consistent with it. You're the one that's trying to make it seem like Kanye didn't have no damn help. That's why John Bryan's being brought up.
And he didn't have as much help as
and here's the reality of the matter. If you really want to know the truth, Dre inspires other people to get on his level. Kanye's whole studio fucking flow comes from John Bryan, Mike. He didn't have no stadium studio flow until John Bryan popped up. He was a rap producer before that. His time with John Bryan is what enabled him to expand and do the Graduations and the 808s and the Yeezus. And Kanye himself has fucking said that.
Cool.
So why is it okay for him to have that type of help, which literally expands his whole sound and changes his whole sound, but it ain't okay for Dr. Dre to have Mailman and Glove play some shit that fits on a Dr. Dre album that he gives them credit for.
And that's great. But they all have some level of help, right?
Right.
And you interview Chris the Glove. He brought some things to Dre, the G-Funk and all of that expanded Dre's palette. And that's okay.
Correct.
But we're not sitting there holding that over Dre's head.
I'm not holding it over Kanye's
Elizondo
head.
Obviously added something to Dre's palette as well. Same thing with Scott Storch. He would say the same thing. You know what I mean? And, you know, it happens. And like you said, John Bryan brought that stadium flow to Ye. But when John Bryan was out of the fold, Ye was able to do Graduation without John Bryan and have that stadium flow. Even give that stadium flow to Jay with Blueprints 3. And give that to Jay for Watch the Throne.
Mike, when DJ Yellow ain't around after NWA, Dre's still making classics. When Chris the Glove is not around, Dre still makes classics. When Mailman and Mike aren't around, Dre still makes classics. So it doesn't matter who you put in the room with Dre. The consistent factor of all this classic album making is Dr. Dre.
And that's why he's number 2 and not those guys on my list.
But the reason that he's number 1 is because when he's in that room, the rate that he makes classic albums at far exceeds Kanye's. He works less and does better. The end.
He works less and does. It's funny.
In terms of what you put out.
of all people, Coop, sitting here giving the crown to somebody who doesn't go to work.
No, it's not that he doesn't go to work. It's that you don't hear it. What I'm saying, as far as what you put out.
Why don't we hear it?
Because he has higher standards than Kanye.
Why don't we hear it?
Because he is hip-hop's perfectionist. He's not going to put something out unless there's a potential of it to be a classic, because that's what he expects of himself first. Don't be mad at him because he got standards, because those standards got him more classic rap albums than any producer in the history of rap.
LP with the super chat. LP with the super chat says, Ye said that he bit the drums off of Explosive. Same-ish. He did for This Can't Be Life.
Kanye biting Dr. Dre? No. No, stop.
Dr. Dre's one of the greats. Why wouldn't he?
The great.
The great. He's number 2.
It's number 1, Mike.
Pimp Panther. I love the name. Says, not sure if y'all mentioned it, but how do y'all feel about MC Hammer's comments in regards to Hip Hop 50? I'm glad they mentioned that. I agree with MC Hammer. The game really, not the game as the rapper, but the industry really shit on Hammer when he was on top. Niggas hated on Hammer. They let these people browbeat Hammer's bankruptcy and make it seem like he was broke and this and that, and people know that that wasn't the reality. And now when it's Hip Hop 50, y'all want this nigga to come out here, sing and dance and yuck it up with y'all niggas? Fuck that. I'm with Hammer on that. Nobody's ever really publicly apologized for the fact that they shit on Hammer all them years.
We've
apologized. And Ice Cube's one of those people too.
We've apologized.
We have apologized. I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about the industry and these people that were hugging up at these Hip Hop 50s. When Hammer was running shit and doing all these commercials, everything the artists do now, people were calling him a sellout. People were making him the poster child for selling out in rap. Rap is not pop if you call it that and stop. You know, what you say, Hammer, proper. Like, them niggas did that. That happened. And it is what it is. And if he feels that way, he is entitled to feel that way.
I'm with Hammer. You gonna catch this fade. What did the people say? Yeah. You talking about Hammer, ain't about to get up. When we doing this Dr. Dre Kanye thing? Dr. Dre Kanye this Friday? What we doing?
Great.
Right now?
LP with the super chat says, he's on a whole album, Mike. Mel has some songs. He's on the whole album, Mike. Mel has some songs. I thought Mailman did the whole album with him. Esquire with the super chat says, so Dr. Dre made George Clinton / Parliament get on his level and not the other way around. Anyway,
I mean,
Dr. Dre's greatest strength is orchestrating and engineering. I'm with Esquire on that. I think that Dr. Dre is hip-hop's greatest engineer by far. Because he can take your shit, polish it up, and turn it into something else. Because I would imagine that beat tape that Snoop's talking about, that Daz made with Doggy Style, it probably sounds nothing like what we ended up hearing after Dr. Dre touched on it. Esquire with the super chat says, so Compton and GTA 5 soundtracks aren't classics.
Man, I know Compton is better than it. I know Compton, sonically speaking.
That Compton album ain't it, man.
Beat-wise, it's better than anything Kanye's done since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
No, don't
beats
do
on there
that.
are better.
Don't do that. Donda's beats are better than that.
No, they're not, Mike. Them Donda beats are trash. And if you want to talk about,
Donda's better than Compton.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And you know who needed an engineer? Kanye ass on Donda. He should have called Dr. Dre. Maybe the beats wouldn't sound so trashy.
People say they want to hear the Dre and Kanye.
You're going down.
75% to 24%.
You're going down. I don't believe you pulled up and disrespected Dr. Dre like this. I might move back to Cali for a week just so I can kick it with my West Coast homies.
Oh, you better come with the smoke, man.
I'm not the one that's in trouble, Mike. Much like the Tupac and Biggie thing. It's like, keep thinking you got the advantage if you want to.
I didn't have the advantage on the Biggie one. I'm being honest,
You got the advantage with Kanye?
I think so. I mean, we all know where you're going to come with these, man. It's going to be the same records.
Right.
They're great records.
And all them records are better than the records you going to play.
It's going to prove my point, win or lose.
You're going to lose bad, Mike.
Win or lose, it's going to prove my one-dimensional point and who's the more versatile producer.
No, Mike, I'll give you versatility.
Where's Dr. Dre's Get By?
Mike, I've already given you versatility.
Mm-hmm.
He's more versatile than Dre. Whoop-de-fucking-whoop. Is he better?
I want to go to my mic check if
Is
you
he
don't
better?
mind.
Because
I know
I got to go in 5 minutes.
We're running over time, man.
I got to go in 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes? Damn, I can't even get to the verse of the day. That was going to be Kanye Chain Heavy.
Hell no. Not after you did all this. No, I'm out.
So yay day.
Every verse. No, it's
so
not
yay day.
It's not yay day. It's Dre day.
It's a yay day. We're changing Dre day to yay day, man. This is modern.
What you got
man.
for Dre day? You don't got shit for Dre day.
OJ Winston with the super chat says, if y'all mentioning Dre, then where's Puff? I feel the same way because Dre and Puff do the same thing.
Dre makes beats.
Does he?
No. I'm out, Mike.
Does he? Okay. I want my mic check. Hold. You gotta stay for the mic check, man. This is about Will Smith.
That's why I'll let Mike talk.
Will Smith, man. So, Will's in the dressing room. I think you sent me this post or something, man. Sent it. Will's in the dressing room talking about how Summertime came together, and once again trying to convince me, because it feels like I'm the only one that really speaks on this.
Just you.
Trying to convince me that Rakim didn't write Summertime for him.
Trying to convince him. Mike, he literally said my vocal cords were messed up from the night before, and the engineer told me, take that shit down and make it sound like Rakim.
You know, the insulting part of that for our ears is the fact that he made it sound like this was about the vocal tone. It's not. It's about the vocabulary. It's about the delivery. It's about the way that song was put together all together. Do you think that, give me some bars from Will Smith where he's using terms like nostalgia. He's saying words like...
Are you saying Will Smith does not have an extended vocabulary?
He didn't use it in his rhymes like that. He wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's the way that Rakim comes with certain vocabulary. The vocabulary in Summertime is much different than the vocabulary that we heard in any Fresh Prince records. It wasn't just the vocal tone. It's the approach. It's how he's building on the actual rhymes. We were just going through Rakim's verses. It's not the vocal tone.
So he jacked his style the same way Dre jacked the Bomb Squad style is what you're trying to say?
No. I still believe Rakim wrote that record. But I did...
They were in the room together, Mike. He looked at him. Rakim didn't know that. Did you see Rakim's reaction? I guess the reaction was makeup. Now you saying, first of all, now you're saying you're saying the God producer and the God producer. Now the God MC is lying.
Rakim didn't really say anything. I'm saying
85% of communication nonverbal, Mike.
Yeah.
The nonverbal speaks to the fact that he didn't know that.
He didn't know what part.
The whole part, Mike.
Come on,
this
man.
Has been wild.
He's never heard this story from Will, because they've been asking Rakim for years. I was just actually listening to the comeback.
That's probably why Will said something about it, because it's been floating around for years.
He got on Sway and said something about this. Rakim's been asked this by Rosenberg in front of Flav, and when Rosenberg, when Rakim said that, he said that he didn't write the record. Flav was looking like, really?
Flav is who you going to for credibility, Mike?
Flav is real.
Flav is who you going to for credibility.
Real.
I'm out,
Flav
Mike.
is real.
Mike, no, Mike, you've been wild today. You've been wild today. First of all, you still on this OJ shit. You talking about Lil Mama being disrespected. You trying to compare Dr. Dre to Puff and saying that he ripped off the Bomb Squad, and now you kicking this shit. You wild today, Mike. You're wild today, Mike. You're wild today.
Go listen to Takes a Nation.
Guess what?
And go listen to
Straight Outta Compton. I'm going to whoop your ass with some of them Straight Outta Compton records. And It Takes a Nation is inspired by Paid in Full, and the Bomb Squad has said that. And Marley Marl was inspired by James Brown. I guess James Brown is the inspiration for Marley Marl.
He is.
But that's okay, right? But it's not okay for Dr. Dre to have inspiration.
No, he can have inspiration.
No, it's a ripoff when it's Dre, but when it's Marley and Kanye, it's inspiration.
But they sound inspired as opposed to sound like a ripoff. If you listen to Straight Outta Compton,
you've been wild today.
It sounds like a Bomb Squad ripoff.
You've been wild today.
You know what? Let's be real, Coop.
You've been wild today.
I know that we were after 88 or whatever, but if you heard Straight Outta Compton in 88 for the first time, and somebody said, you know what? Did Bomb Squad make that beat? Would you think that maybe they could have made that beat?
No.
Come on now.
Oh, the beat Straight Outta Compton or the album? Maybe the beat Straight Outta Compton? The beat Straight Outta Compton?
That don't sound like a Bomb Squad ripoff?
Ripoff? How come when Ye takes something that sounds like Q-Tips and Dilla's best stuff, it's inspiration, but when you're bringing up Dre, you're calling it a ripoff?
Well, he made it his own. What song are we talking about?
Like, you understand that, like, Paid in Full is literally a bunch of James Brown samples.
Let me be consistent here. And Dilla has said this himself, and I agree with Dilla. The Blast by High Tech is a Dilla ripoff. It is. It's a great song. Love the song. I think it's their best song. But that doesn't change the fact that it's a Dilla ripoff, is it not? The Blast is a Dilla ripoff. Come on now.
You think that's a Dilla ripoff?
Dilla thought so. I think so too. I agree with him.
I think most of them fucking Kanye records, like Heart of the City, is a Dilla ripoff.
Nah, I don't think that's a Dilla ripoff.
Right.
Now, if you want to say that one song,
I think the Selfish record by Slum Village, didn't Kanye do that? That's a fucking Dilla ripoff. Could be. That's a Dilla ripoff.
Because he's producing for the group that Dilla was in. So yeah, of course.
Excuses satisfy the maker.
No, I'm just saying.
Excuses satisfy the maker. It Takes a Nation of Millions is inspired by Paid in Full. Does it sound like they're ripping them off, or are they just using the same fucking like?
They added their own flavor to it. I don't feel.
And so Express Yourself on Straight Outta Compton isn't adding a West Coast flavor to the sound. Okay,
Express Yourself.
So stop calling it a ripoff.
It's not the whole album.
But
a large majority of it. A large majority of it is.
Wild today. You've been wild today. Every take that you've had has been wrong, wild, and off.
We're in rare form today, guys. Mall 7 with the super chat said, MC Hammer deserves his respect. That whole 91 Atlanta Falcons team used his song Too Legit to Quit as their whole slogan the entire season. Y'all remember that? Yeah, man, my dad had season tickets. He said that Hammer used to jump out there at halftime with Deion Sanders and perform.
Hammer was on the sidelines.
They got a free show. Well, not a free show, but you buy a Falcons ticket and you got a Hammer show at halftime. All right. I was listening to Combat Jack's interview, right? Rest in peace to Combat Jack. He interviewed Eric B some years back before Combat passed. And Eric B confirmed, at least this is what he says, that Rakim had the Summertime record first. He said he was working on the record, and people in the studio was like, oh, that's soft, whatever. And so he ended up not wanting to do it anymore. And he said that's how Will got the record. That's how it ended up sounding the way it sounded. So Rakim does have ties to that actual record. Okay. I just think it's, Will's a great actor. He's been in Hollywood for a long time. And for Will to put on this performance to say that it was about his vocal tone, I don't think it's totally 100%. Because the vocabulary in that song is different. It just is. It's not about the vocal tone. It's not about him rapping deeper. It's about his flow. So, here it is. Groove, slight, the trance, form. Okay, and also, another point.
No, let me meet you in the middle.
I want to say this. I want to say this too.
It's been so wild today.
Because we always talk about Rakim being the king of the one-liners, right? And these quotables. 2 miles an hour, so everybody sees you. Does Will have these kind of standout lines in any other of the great Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince records?
I think parents just don't understand. It's full of great one-liners, but that's neither here
What's
nor
the
there.
one-liner that comes to mind?
No. I'm gonna meet you halfway, Mike. Let's say that Rakim had this beat first. Let's say there's a skeleton track and that Rakim started the song, but didn't finish it. And let's say it made its way into Will Smith's hands when he was listening to it. That doesn't mean that Rakim wrote the song.
I got some information. I got some information
too, Mike. It's the fucking post where Will Smith is telling Rakim a few days ago about it. That's all the information we need. The two guys that are involved in it spoke on it right there.
Have you heard of Fake Shore Drive?
Hell no, I ain't heard of no Fake Shore Drive.
No, he's a very insightful journalist out there in Chicago. He has a lot of information. He's interviewed Common and all these guys. Anyway.
What the hell does that have to do with Rakim and Will Smith?
So he posted this. It's in Chicago. He says,
wow.
He says for years the urban legend was that Rakim Ghost wrote the song for Will, when in fact it was written by the legendary MC Juice and recorded at the Old Jive recording studio in Chicago.
I don't know who this Fake Shore guy is.
No, he's
no.
credible.
You might be.
But I'm just saying, I've never heard that MC Juice wrote that record. Now, Will never said he wrote the record. He just said Rakim didn't write the record.
You know what
so,
that is? It's a Rakim,
so what if
it's a Rakim ripoff?
It is from another MC. So let's just say MC Juice said, you know what? I'm gonna do my Rakim ripoff here, and I'm gonna give it to Will. Is that not possible? So Rakim didn't write it, but Will didn't write it either.
I guess you think this Juice is innocent like you think the other Juice is innocent, huh?
For sure.
This is wild. This is wild.
Kasi with the super chat says, rank the King's Disease and Magic series just based on how well they're produced alone.
I won't.
Dang,
I won't, because Mike is probably Mike. If we talk about the King's Disease,
KD3.
Mike might try to give Kanye credit for that. Okay?
No, I'm not gonna do that.
He might try to do that. Magic 3 is better produced than KD3. It's just the beats on KD3 are better. Better production job is Magic 3.
Here it is, groove slightly transformed, just a little to break from the norm, just a little something to break the monotony. Have you ever heard Will Smith say monotony in a rhyme?
I want you to know.
Have you ever heard Will Smith say monotony in a rhyme?
Even for your wild takes, I still love you, but I'm gonna step on your ass. I'm gonna step on Kanye.
Coop, have you ever heard Will Smith say monotony in a rhyme?
Hey, I just met you halfway and said he might have heard a Skeleton Rakim track.
You're
going down.
Oh, yeah.
This Dr. Dre thing, you're going down.
I already know what I'm going to hear, man.
No, you don't. You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what I'm going to bring, man.
It doesn't matter what you bring. It's not good enough. That's my whole point. It's not good enough. What you got's not good enough.
We're talking about beats, man.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
And it's all going to be from, Snoop, Dre. You're not going to play any Eminem. You don't want to do that. I don't even think you're going to play any DLC.
Nigga, funky
you
enough.
Could.
Funky enough in the formula are great beats.
Oh, they are.
Straight Outta Compton, Niggas for Life. Get Rich or Die Trying, the documentary. I got
what are you
going to
play from Get Rich or Die Trying in the club?
Don't you worry about that, Mike. You worry about being able to beat it.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says,
I know Kanye ain't produced nothing for nobody as big as In the Club. How about that?
Mad Max of the Super Chat says, OJ is innocent. He ain't killed them people.
I'm gone. You're going down too, Mad Max. Can't wait to see you in these streets. I'm coming to New York to see you. Y'all are some fucking liars. Everybody know OJ did that shit. Part of why we were happy, man. It's like, man, a nigga finally got away with some shit in America.
Nah, he didn't do that.
It's time to go.
Now I look deeper into the case. He didn't do it. That's why he was able to get, acquitted, because he didn't do it. Well, I'm looking forward to.
When are we doing this? No. I want time, date, and place. This is some bullshit today.
This has been an entertaining show, to say the least.
You're wild.
But this is what I want to do, though. I mean, do you want to do this matchup before we do our next show and do a breakdown? Because I really want to bring more evidence to the table, man.
Mike, you can bring all the evidence that you want when we do the next show, but you need to go down, and you need to go down fast and hard for this shit. You said,
Coop, that's why you lost the Prince battle. In the Club is trash.
Hold on, who said In the Club is trash? Yeah.
I've never been a big fan of
This is why you can't trust these niggas. And that's why we can't trust your
ass. I've never been a big fan of In the Club.
I see you on Friday, Mike.
I'm not going to lie.
Station head on Friday.
I've never been a big fan of In the Club.
No more.
I haven't.
No more.
I respect how big it is.
No more.
Station head on pause. But I've even said it's a top 50 hip-hop song all time. But personally, I don't jump in the ride and play in the club. Now, you know what record he did for 50 that's crazy? We said this on the show, man. That Out of Control remix, that's insane. Now, when Dre's on that shit, you're right. Untouchable. When Dre is at his zenith.
Oh, you about to get touched, Mike.
No. When Dre does like that Let Me Not Ride remix type shit, untouchable.
About to touch Kanye like I'm a Catholic priest, Mike. It's about to be bad for you.
K. Nicole with the super chat says, Nas Spicy was the intro to Chris Rock and Kevin Hart's new documentary on Netflix.
When are we doing the station head, Mike? Friday? Does Friday work for you? Are you free? Are you going to back out?
I don't know.
Give you a couple days to get your life together.
Yeah,
maybe apologize to Dr. Dre for this blasphemous shit you spitting out here.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get some calls from Dre and his people or something.
You're not allowed to go to Cali with me.
No, man, I want to go to Cali, man.
No.
Number two's not bad.
Not going with me. You had Quick too far back. You got Dr. Dre at number 2.
Now I need to adjust the Quick thing. And I need to actually get Daz and Prince Paul in there. What I tried to do is
Daz is in there mostly for the doggy style stuff and dog food stuff and the All Eyes on Me stuff. Like, no. That's some of the best shit.
No, for real.
No, I gave Daz some doggy style credit.
Because what would you do? That's game changing shit for me. Like, Daz did that, right?
Yeah.
What would
Ambitions as a writer, crazy. Mike.
Yeah, that's some of the best rap music ever made.
Yeah.
And I think in that small time period.
That was on the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. I wonder who executive produced that album.
In that pocket, and I'm going to say this all jokes aside, in that pocket, man, that's some of the best rap music ever made, ever produced. And that
You mean the Death Row Run headed by Dr. Dre?
Yeah.
Okay.
Straight up. But we talking about in the end, man. I'm gonna have to get a nod to. I'm about
to step on Kanye's catalog.
But hold on. I think Kanye's dropping an album Friday, so we might jump on a live and see what that's like.
No. I'm cool with that too.
Yeah, y'all might see us on Friday night if Kanye drops.
And it's not gonna be album of the year. It's not gonna be no classic. And there ain't gonna be no beat on there that you're gonna be able to use. Because I've been telling you, as far as music is concerned, this nigga's unreliable.
Okay, let's do that. Let's plan for speaking on this Kanye album on Friday, and y'all join us here on YouTube or whatnot. I mean, we'll probably end up doing that, at the crib or something. I mean, I don't know if it's actually gonna happen. It might be real late. But
knowing Kanye, it's gonna be Monday.
Yeah, who knows if the album's really gonna drop?
Who knows if the songs that you heard are even gonna make the fucking album?
Who knows? But if it does, we should pull up. You know what I'm saying? And further this discussion.
Oh, I'm gonna pull up. I'm pulling up
because if this album's great, Dr. Dre is really number 2.
Mike, you still if this album is great, you're still like 4 or 5 albums behind. And I don't know if you noticed, Kanye's not in his prime anymore. And he's not about to go reinvent the wheel like you think he's about to do.
You don't think he's about to drop something game-changing?
Did you just hear the hook to the Freddie Gibbs song? What is game-changing about that?
That's the next wave, man. Next wave.
I'm out.
All right.
Station
Hit
head,
like and subscribe, guys.
Friday.
Either Station Head or we're jumping on a live.
Both. No. Like, because we could go on a live, and then we can do Station Head right after. We can talk about Kanye's album, and then we can jump on the Station Head, and you can catch this fade.
What'd he say? Beautiful, big titty, naked women just don't fall out the sky,
Play Dreams, Watch What I Do to You. Since you think Dreams so goddamn heavy, great, man. Watch What I Do to You. Watch.
Listen, man, I'm the one that told you about, what Snoop was going to do to DMX.
You think Dreams so heavy. Watch what happens.
Dreams is heavy.
It's not heavy enough for Dr. Dre.
We going 20 deep, 21?
No, I want 25.
25?
25.
I like
Since
that.
Your boy got it like that.
Yeah. That actually benefits me.
No, it doesn't.
You're going to operate better in a smaller pocket of songs, to be honest.
Not when a guy has executive produced 11 classics. And he's done beats on 10 of the 11.
Well, you know what? I want to see if we could do a poll before we get out of here. I know we both got to go. Who do people agree with, me or you? I mean, can we do a poll on that?
Yeah, who's better,
before
Dre or
we get
Kanye?
out of here?
Yeah,
can we say no? How about we just do it this way?
I don't trust
Who do
these
y'all
niggas
agree
either.
with on this topic?
They don't trust
Mike or Coop?
Don't trust these niggas. Our fans.
Hey, man.
There are people in the chat saying God's son's better than Life is Good. That's how you can't trust these people. You can't trust these people.
Well, I mean, when it comes to Nas, you're right. Yeah, the audience is gonna.
I'm voting for myself right now.
You're voting for yourself. Well, I guess I'm gonna do the same then.
That's
fine.
I
wasn't gonna do that.
People just be voting. People just be voting for you just because I be talking shit about them, but they know it's true. They know it's true. It's wild. It's wild what you just did.
Looks like I'm winning right now.
Yeah.
How many votes we gonna let it get to? 50.
I don't care how many votes you let it get to, Mike. You're going.
I mean, it's pretty close.
You're going down this weekend, Mike. You're going down on Friday. Just
this is going to be
just
fun.
like Kanye's production from 2010 to 2023.
Please, Kanye, I hope this new album is well produced because, I'm going to have more to even stand on. Because that Compton album, that shit ain't it. When the last time you listened to that album?
When the last time you listened to Donda?
I listened to Donda today.
When the last time you listened to the Ye album? When the last time you listened to Life of Pablo?
To the Ye album
Right. When the last time you listened
to Life of Pablo? Maybe like last month or something.
It's okay. You don't listen to rap like you used to. Your taste are fading. It's all right. It's all right.
Life of Pablo is dope.
It's not.
You don't like Life of Pablo?
I gotta go. It's not any good. This is wild.
All right, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Hit like and subscribe. We appreciate y'all tuning in today, and we probably are gonna see you guys in some sort of form. But
I'm gonna see you on Station Head, Mike.
We got to do these Twitter Spaces too.
I'm gonna see you on Station Head, Mike.
All right, guys. Happy holidays. We're gonna holler.
Click like and subscribe. All this fuckery going on
all day, all day. Salute.
Great show.